Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's broadcast of the OSC Season 7 Championship. My name is Coltar, and I'll be bringing you guys all the action here today, and we have so many good games coming up, guys. It is going to be a really pretty fantastic day of StarCraft 2. Thank you all so much for coming and tuning in today, and excited for you guys to be joining us as we have Marsman versus Denver coming up as our first best of 5, as my phone lets me know that it's time to wake the F up and get into some StarCraft action. Marsman versus Denver, going to be our first best of 5 here, guys. Then we will have the winner taking on Sort of. After that, we'll have Vanya taking on Thermal, and then we will have the upper bracket final here for the OSC Season 7 Championship over on Wardy's channel. We're going to have Cure taking on Mana, then we're going to have Bly versus the winner of that series, and then Clem versus B before then we'll have just a match on this channel for the OSC Season 7 Championship. Today and tomorrow, the final 2 days, guys, we will decide our champion. Top 11 currently. We're guaranteed to have a first-time champion this season, which is super, super awesome, guys. Really excited to be getting a brand new champion. Really excited to be finishing out this $6,000 plus prize pool. As a reminder, if you guys have not already contributed to that prize pool, you can do so completely for free using the code OSCS7 and the command !Matcherino in the chat. So please, guys, if you have not checked that out, please go and do so as we head into game number 1 of the day. Kicking things off in the top right hand side in the blue from Infinity Gaming, he's Denver. And his opponent down in the bottom left position of World of Sleepers from Black Knight Esports, Marsman. So Denver yesterday looked absolutely dominant, took down Vindicta in convincing fashion in the last series of the day. He's been having a really great tournament so far. As I will go ahead and pull up the bracket real quick, just to give you guys a full update on everything that's been going down. As this is a pretty standard opener coming out, hat first, coming out from the side of Denver. So Denver, in order to get here, came here all the way from losers bracket round 1, taking down Impact 3-1, then Justice Simon 3-0, and then Vindicta 3-1. Now here against Marsman to make it into losers round 5. Then we'll face Sort of the next opponent up, and then of course Marsman just fell here from the upper bracket. Saw him come in and face off against Cure, who beat him 3-0. Now this is the next series that he's played, so a really high seed in this OSC championship. He was, I believe, our 6th or 7th seed heading into this season championship. So had a very, very high seed, which goes to show, guys, you know, if you play in these tournaments, you get rewarded. As he is already here in the top 11 players left in this tournament. To see who's going to come out on top as the second gas gets taken back at home for Marsman. And he works on saturating his natural base. All well and good. Normal stuff coming out here. The pool will be finishing up. Looks like natural base is going to work on getting saturated. We'll see when that third base will be coming down here for the side of Marsman. For the side of Denver, excuse me, not Marsman. As the probe, we'll go ahead and piece on out. Get a better view of the front side. Here comes that third base for Denver. Looks like Marsman will be a bit annoying and try and block it for as long as he can. Zerglings are available for this, though. Couple more Zerglings run over. This shouldn't be delayed too terribly long. Still going to get it well before the 3-minute mark. This is all very well and good for the side of Denver. Is now this attempting to make its way across. Stargate coming down behind this for Marsman. Getting himself ready to do some nice harassment. In the front, we'll see what unit he goes for first. Yesterday, saw a lot of Protosses wanting to go for the much earlier Oracle instead of the Phoenix first, prioritizing that earlier harassment. Instead of denying scouting, let's see if Marsman follows that same pattern here. As he duels with the Queen, not able to find that creep tumor, but will be able to go down safely. As Speed and Pneumatized Carapace comes up for Denver. Going to be working on that. Really enjoyed getting that Overlord Speed against Vindicta yesterday. Worked out phenomenally for him. Able to get constant scouting information and keep himself up to date on everything that is going down. Here comes the Phoenix that will be taking out this first Overlord and looking for a bit more. This would be a nice way to deny some of the scouting and help out, even though there is that speed coming up for this Overlord. Obviously already knows what the tech is. Does see that the Oracle's on the way next. Man, that poor probe's gonna have to like take a shower. That body fell right on top of him. That was a really crappy day to be a probe. Just getting an Overlord Husk falling on you, like ugh, slimy. Third hatchery did finish up here for Denver as he's working on Spore Callers, making sure he's not going to get caught off guard by any Oracle. Of course, the Phoenix coming in with the Oracle could allow him to still get some kills. Saw a lot of really good stasis traps in the games yesterday. Curious if Marsman will be implementing any of those here. Denver, for the most part, did a good job of responding to them yesterday, but could see some opportunities from that all the same. Okay, coming in, gets one kill, but looks like the Queens will be chasing him away. Ooh, taking a lot of damage, actually, right off the gate. Right out the gate here. Will have to retreat pretty rapidly. As I try and adjust my cable management here to be a little bit better. Okay, so Templar Archives and Charge coming up as he preps for a... looks like Archon drop coming through here as he works on that Warp Prism. Still only on, I think, 4 gateways total. Yeah, 4 gateways right now. So just going for the Archon drop while he secures his third base and prepping himself for the eventual Charge Off follow-up. Going to have a pretty powerful force, especially against the Roaches that will be coming out from Denver. Charge Rod Immortal Archon is about as ideal you could get as to fight against this Roach Ravager force. See how well he'll be able to choose his engagements in the center of the map as the Lings see a probe heading towards the third base, but Denver doesn't quite have full knowledge that it's there just yet. +1 missile attack coming up for Denver back at home as he works as a Infestation Pit, getting Roach speed, and making a bunch of Overlords right now as he preps to start pumping out a lot of army. 66 workers behind this to the 53 of his opponent. No 4th hatchery just yet for the side of Denver as the 3rd is getting finished up here very soon. These 2 Oracles of Marsman on defensive duty only so far. As the Archons are made, let's see what this drop can do. 4th hatchery coming down just below this. Doesn't look like he'll be able to force a cancel or anything just yet. Into the main base, taking some hits. Not enough Roaches here just yet. Here come a few more. We'll be able to keep this out of that mineral line. Mortal production continuing here for Marsman. Back on home front, we have his third base looking very safe. He's adding on more, looks like some sentries with this. Going to be able to control that battlefield a little bit more. Force field off these Roaches. Always very nice. There is an Overseer here that is getting a very nice vision of exactly what this army composition is. The Phoenix will finally go and hunt that down, but good intel for Denver before it does go down. Dexter is going to come out here for the side of Denver. Saw him yesterday use these to great effect, or mostly to great effect, right? He saw him not add them on until pretty late in the matches yesterday. This time, adding them on much sooner. Likes to use, or in the last game we saw him use these. He was trying to use them burrowed and have them come in and you look for fungals to help out. In that game, it was ultras that he had, but just helped him find those engagements and lock down the army of his opponent as he was trying to finish the job. The Oracles actually, one of them does get killed by the Bile, but finds one of the Queens. Gets a couple of drone kills. Nothing too crazy. Losing that one Oracle kind of sucks, but it's not a huge deal at this point. They are mostly just for that Revelation and Stasis traps, which we do have a, looks like 1 Stasis trap out on the map right now. More army getting added on here for the side of Marsman as he's working on Storm. Wants to have that before any real amount of Banelings come out, if that is going to be a move from Denver. But of course, that is not going to be the play just yet. He is revealed by the Revelation. He knows exactly where this army is coming from. Good force fields here, catching a nice chunk of these Roaches. The Bile comes through to free him, but loses a couple. The Archons are on the other side as the Phoenix continues to hunt down more of these Overlords. And it looks like Denver will just be kind of stalled here in the center of the map for the time being. +2 weapons, range attack has started here for the side of Denver as +1, I think, just finished up. Just finished up here for the side of Marsman. So he is even on upgrades for the time being. Might be able to take a lead if he's good with the Chrono Boost here. in that upgrade department. We have the creep spread coming all the way down the bottom side of this map right now, working on getting himself a nice attack path. This is something that's been a consistent strength for Denver, although Marsman is expanding on the complete other side. Fourth base getting taken now as the Roaches push forward, opening up an opportunity there. Storm's available. Infestors coming up from the right-hand side. 120 to 62 that on supply. The Neural Parasite onto the Archon, and it's getting big hits right into the Sentries and that High Templar. They were all fungled there. Oh my goodness, that Archon got so many good hits onto those expensive gas units, taking control of both of the Archons here, and that was a very nice move to win that fight. Oh my goodness. GG, Denver takes game number 1. Wow. I've never seen that with going forward and just neural parasiting the Archons. That was phenomenal. That plus the very nice fungal on top of the Sentries and that High Templar just really locked that game down for him, not giving any room for them to escape. And the Archon just smacks him out of existence. It was very nicely done, and Marsman just really doesn't have an answer to that. Right at that point, didn't have enough zealots. Wasn't aware of those infestors either, so couldn't have really planned a better response to it. You know, tried to keep his army a little farther back. It's caught him off guard. A very nice move here by the blue Zerg, who's now spawning in the top left in the blue from Infinity Gaming. He's Denver. Continuing to look very good here today, as in the bottom right-hand side in the red, it's Marsman from Black Knight Esports. Definitely not out of this series just yet. Can definitely see him taking a game or two here. But I think Denver is definitely the favorite. He has been absolutely dominant both in this tournament and in the recent months. Denver's been looking very, very good and getting better all the time. Marsman, though, of course, no slouch. You know, he had a phenomenal ranking in the OSC regular season here for Season 7. And is looking to continue that trend here, but very tough opponent in the side of Denver. Marsman does not want to make an exit in the tournament after only 2 series. Really would like to keep himself alive here as he spots out the pool first with the gas getting taken here for Denver. So we will have a very early speed. Should be seeing some early lings coming out here from Denver. We'll see how much they'll be able to do, and of course what the response is going to be here from Marsman. See if he does end up adding on the second gateway or protection or not. Doesn't look like he will be, as he will still be going for the Nexus after gate. Pool is finishing here. We'll see if he pulls off gas or not. That'll be the next really big opportunity for some deviation from this build for Denver, as it looks like he will be. Keeping just 1 on the gas. He starts up speed. Overlord making its way over to go check out what's happening at the front, and it's nothing too crazy here. Very standard build as the second gas gets taken from Marsman up in the main base, getting another pylon as well. Everything in the main, no proxies yet, though this probe hiding in the top position might be looking for a proxy pylon or something to get some warp-ins later on, as that Zergling will head over there to make sure you can secure the third base. The other 3 on their way over. Going to be looking just to apply a little bit of pressure to this pylon, scare Marsman a little bit here, make sure he's nice and awake. Probe gets taken down, natural base is all finished up, and will start to get injected pretty rapidly here by Denver, as Marsman sends out his Adept, looking to make his way across the map, get some information for himself. Stalker up behind this. What is that tech of choice going to be? Marsman still building up that gas. Twilight Council could be coming up here soon. It is going to be that Robo-Facility right into the wall. Have very early Immortals or potentially very early Warp Prism here. 3-gate Robo Pressure is very common and can be very powerful. Marsman especially, a pretty decent fan of it. In the games that we've seen, and as the Sentry comes out, it could be a Soul Train build coming out from him as well. Looking to get as many Sentries as possible with 1 or 2 Immortals, then warping in slow Zealots with a Warp Prism. It'd be a very powerful, pretty much all-in attack that happens right around like the 5.5 minute mark, though you can take a third base behind it and transition out of it. So I'm interested to see if he continues that Sentry protection or not from the side of Marsman, as Denver secures the third. And still no further tech from him, and no further gas is taken either. Does have 3 on his main base gas as he continues to bank that up. See when he decides to start up a Roach Horn, which he does throw down now as we're talking about it. And should be looking to get a player here in the near future, I'm sure, as well. Here's a double Stargate coming down from Marsman. A lot of Phoenixes going to be the call here. So this robotics facility really going to be trying to distract the side of Denver, right? Keep him from knowing what's coming, keep him guessing, and catch him completely off guard with that double Stargate play. Ideally going to be able to get a lot of good damage done with it. Phoenixes give such great map control. They really allow you to pressure your opponent onto the other side of the map and, of course, deny all scouting from any sorts of overlords, as the Warp Prism is coming around to finish off all the stray overlords that are on his side of the map as those Stargates finish up. Of course, Roaches cannot shoot up, and so that will be a very tough fight for Denver to make happen if he does get caught off guard by these Phoenixes. It's important that he recognizes that these are coming soon, which is, of course, easier said than done, as this Overlord's going to have to make it all the way to the other side of the base right now as he comes in. The lair is only just now started up, so if he's wanting any potential Corruptors or anything, or Hydras as a response, it's still going to be some time before he has those available. As the first 2 Phoenixes did pop out, he's wanting to bank those up, not wanting to show them until he has enough to go and be a threat to the mineral line. Marsman's trying to kill it. It's so close. Oh, and it gets the vision on 1 Stargate, but doesn't see the second. That'll be enough to give him the okay to throw down some Spore Crawlers, make sure his mineral line stays safe. The Warp Prism making its way across the map. But does get distracted by these Zerglings. Will finish them off. Still no third base for the side of Marsman. Denver seeing that should know there's something coming his way. Spore Crawlers now coming in at the natural. Should see some here at all the bases shortly. As the Phoenix count continues to climb, it looks like he will finally be ready to go and show them out on the map. 6 on the way. Ooh, and they find this Roach Ravager Force going to be able to pick a lot of this off for free. This is very nice. It is a 10-worker lead for the side of Denver, who's just splitting up these Roaches, wanting to keep them alive, as many of them as alive as he can. But of course, the Phoenixes will be able to kill pretty much all of them here. They will have to use a lot of their energy for this, which will mean less pickups for mineral lines and queens, but I think that's totally okay here. Catching a good chunk of the Roaches. Hydralisk Den was the response from Denver as he just finished that up and will be working on more. These Phoenixes pretty much able to get free damage as there's not enough anti-air to really threaten their health bars too efficiently just yet. 64 to 49 is that working count behind this as the Phoenixes, ooh, might be able to get a queen. Not enough energy for a transfuse just yet. Oh, there it goes, but not nearly enough to save its life. Income advantage is pretty solidly in favor of Denver at the moment as the third base only just now comes down for Marsman. These Phoenixes just looking for an opportunity. Spore Crawlers continuing to get added on here for the side of Denver as the Hydras get a good first volley. Very important those Hydras stay in that critical mass, making sure that they're not getting picked off as they're getting rallied over. Group up with the rest of them. These Phoenixes do bonus damage to light. They are able to shred these Hydras so quickly. So it is very important that he keeps those safe. Keeps them all together. Bailey, that's coming out for a on the back side of this as the main army moving through. A lot of sentries, 3 immortals, I think, or maybe it's just a 2. Now 2 immortals here, more zealots. There's the 3rd immortal coming over, and the Phoenix is above. This is a very powerful force and an army supply lead for Marsman. He's adding on a lot of Zerglings coming out for Denver to try and help respond to this. The first Spore Crawler getting taken down. The Hydras doing what they can. Force fields available. A lot of energy on these sentries. First round of force fields, not the best. Only catches a couple of Hydras, and one of them still manages to walk away. More Zealots are getting added on. Of course, these are slow Zealots, guys, so they are mostly just that buffer. Not going to be doing too much damage-wise, as it'll be hard for them to close the gap, especially as more of these Banelings continue to get added on. More force fields coming through. The Biles coming out to try and break through them. The Concave for Denver is phenomenal as the force fields continue to get added on. 65 to 65, that army supply, as the Phoenixes are getting involved. They pick off one of the Ravagers up on the top side. The drone pool going to come through as Denver is trying to defend, trying to hold on against this force of Marsman. The Phoenix is trying to take more damage. The sentries at the top taking more damage as well. As 10 drones go down, still a worker lead for Denver. as more Warpins are coming through. Those Immortals still alive, but down goes almost all of the Phoenixes here. And there's the last one dying now. Another round of Warpins coming through. Will this be enough to give him the edge? It's 27 arms by 42. As another Queen gets taken down. 22 drones in total have fallen. The Hydras are pushing forward. They're looking for that Warp Prism, and they get it. Now going to be shredding through the rest of the Stalkers here. This has been held by Denver, and he'll be able to rout this army. GG. As Denver goes up 2-0 in this best of 5. Really nicely played. Taking some great engage there. Really nicely done preempting with the Biles, the force fields, and breaking them down very rapidly when he was trying to maintain that concave around his third base. Did it very, very well. Now he will be coming into Eternal Empire for the third map. Might be getting a little bit longer of a game here, perhaps. And we'll see if Marsman will be able to take him down. It's obviously easier said than done, clearly, as I mean, Denver is having phenomenal games so far and is showing why he is here in the top 11 and ready to be one of the contenders for that championship spot. We'll see if he can finish it out here as he represents Infinity Gaming in the top right position. He is Denver. And his opponent, who's on the ropes, one map away from elimination, it's Marsman. Really needs a comeback right now as he was unable to make that attack work. It looked very good for him at the start. You know, he had the army supply lead, so many Phoenixes in the sky, but ultimately was unable to make it happen. The Phoenixes getting killed by a lot of those Hydras. I think a lot of those Zealots went up to the top right side of that fight instead of being a little bit more centralized in the middle, so I think more of those Hydras were able to get shots onto the Immortals and Stalkers in the back, which I think helped him win that as well. And of course, the drone pull came at a very good time. And he didn't have enough force fields to really keep them away, right? He wasn't able to either keep the army or the drones away, so instead had to try and kite and tank both of them with that army, and it's just not really a feasible situation to come out ahead, as the natural hatchery is coming up for Denver, of course. It was a hatch first. Gas and the pool, I'm sure, are going to be taken soon, but it's actually a proxy hatchery coming down. So things will be a little bit weirder as the probes get pulled to come and damage that. Zealot going to get made as well. Working on taking him down. And of course, there's really not too many situations where we ever see this hatchery actually finish, but forces this Zealot out. It forces those probes to get pulled and brought down here to contest it. As Denver wants to throw down another one, but looks like Marsman will be able to throw down that natural expansion, and this should be pretty okay for him. The pool coming up behind this for Denver as the second gas gets taken. And it will be looking like a pretty standard opener here as the pool finishes up. Let's see how many Zerglings we end up getting from Denver as that first Adept is in the production tab. No Warp Gate research just yet. As I say that, he starts it, so never mind. Yeah, just being a bit cheeky with this drone. Making the Zealot chase him around, playing some Ring Around the Rosie. Blowing off some steam here in the early game as the third hatchery comes down for Denver. And he'll try and save this drone for as long as he can, just trying to keep this Adept here instead of heading across the map, forcing Marsman to be aware of this drone and make sure it doesn't escape. Stalker on the way here for Marsman as the robotic facility comes up behind this. Extractor does get canceled and looks like the drone will be going down now, but will die here. Its death even gets another extractor down. Just super annoying here. Keeping Marsman forced to keep the Adept at home, so he has no idea what is happening on the other side of the map currently. As, oh man, even gets another one. This is just so annoying for Marsman to be dealing with. Looks like he'll should be able to get it this time. This is so annoying. This is really, really... Man, yeah, that's got to feel good for Denver. That's a fantastic way to start this off. Just a great You know, it doesn't make a massive difference overall, except for in the case of that scouting, but it just feels so nice, right? I mean, getting so many blocks on that extractor, keeping that drone alive for so long, way longer than it should have been able to stay alive there. It's very, very nice. We've got more gateways coming up here for Marsman with a Warp Prism on the way. Going to be going up to, looks like 6 gateways overall. We'll be able to apply some pretty significant pressure over towards Denver, who's only going to have Zerglings available for the defense. Roach Ward just now getting thrown down as the natural base gets turned into the lair. We have that Warp Prism now out and available. Looks like it is going to be making its way across the map now. As it first hunts down this Overlord. Gas Geyser actually got canceled there from Marsman, so it doesn't look like he actually wants to take his natural base. Gas is just yet. Instead, is chrono boosting his gateways and is heading straight across the map here. The Xel'Naga Tower is fully aware of where this is pathed to. Another round of warp-ins comes through. 4 more Stalkers coming up. 2 Spine Crawlers on the way for the defense up for Denver. Here at the third base, we got 4 Queens here as well as the first Overlord gets taken down. Denver, a bit supply blocked, has 2 more Overlords on the way, and 14 Lings getting added on. It's even on army supply as Marsman sits at the base of the ramp. Use a little bit more of a buffer for those Stalkers if he wants to make this fight work. 4 more Zealots getting warped in, but that gives time for the Spine Crawlers to be finished up. Of course, more energy ticking away for these Queens. That's going to mean more transfuses. That's going to mean an easier time holding. Here we go. 43 to 36. The army supplies. Zerglings are around the backside of this. Queens on the front. The 2 Spine Crawlers in the middle line. Oh, and here comes Marsman. The Spine Crawlers are now in range. The Lings waiting for their opportunity to come in on the backside and wrap around this army. Marsman getting more Zealots added on. He's so anxious to try and get this fight going, but he's has to play this so carefully with his positioning. Getting a snipe on the first Roach, that's nice. As the Roaches and Queens trying to contest this, the Lings still not coming in just yet. Here they come now. The Roaches putting themselves in a good position. But this is looking like so many blue units right now. Denver just has so much, and now wrapping around. Yeah, Denver will be taking that game and the series with a swift 3-0 victory. GG, and congratulations to him as he moves on into this bracket pretty convincingly over Marsman, who will be making his exit here in the lower round 4. And now that means that Denver moves on to face Sort of. So, with that, guys, we'll go to a short little break here while we get this next series good to go, and then we'll be back with more StarCraft 2 action. It's going to be Denver taking on Sort of here in the lower bracket round 5. After that, guys, we'll have Vanya taking on Euthermal, so stick around, guys. We got a lot more StarCraft coming up. Right now on Wardy's channel as well, there's Kira versus Mana, followed by Bly versus the winner of that series, so you know, make sure to have both tabs open. Keep up on all the games, guys, because we will be back with more OSC Season 7 Championship right after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the OSC Season 7 Championship. We are getting ready for our next best of 5 of the day, guys, and it is going to be Denver taking on Sort of. I update the stream title. Awesome. So Denver taking on Sort of here in the next best of 5, guys. It's going to be a good one as we head into game number 1. Not much else to say. It's going to be a ZVZ, guys. Should be phenomenal. We are loaded into the action. Okay, so it looks like they did choose orange versus red, guys. So I do have color intensity turned pretty high, so it should be okay. But so you know, no control over that. Sorry, guys. As we are here into game for this next best of 5 here in the lower bracket, round 5. The top right in the orange from Infinity Gaming, he's Denver. His opponents down in the bottom left position in the red, it's Sort of Cascade Esports. Both of these guys, phenomenal European Zergs. Sort of been having an excellent season as well. Super excited to see how these two are going to match up here in this best of 5, as it is hatch first coming down from both of them. Taking a look at the different Overlord path things. Looks like everything's about the same here between these two. First one getting sent all the way across. Second one looks like going to be the same. Making sure he's being able to see all the attack paths. Pool coming down for both. Sort of. Pretty much perfectly matching Denver here in terms of the timing of everything. As to be expected here in the early game. We won't really see too many deviations here until we start to see the next tech, or potentially how many lings will be coming out here from these first few bits of larva. Natural hatchery going to start to get saturated here for Sort of. Awesome, as the queens are coming up. We still don't have any third hatcheries on the way just yet, as to be expected. Don't want to take any unnecessary risks by taking it too early. Need those queens out, of course, for the larva. And looks like now will be on the mind of Denver as the first couple lings going to make their way across the map. Sort of will be looking to do the same. Both of them are going to be able to get it up nice and early before the 3-minute mark. Very standard stuff. As the first two lings of Denver will be making their way across. I want to, of course, remind you guys, if you have not checked out the Matcherino page, you can donate to the prize pool for free and add $1 to it at no cost to you using the code OSCS7. You can just type !Matcherino. It's spelled out right there for you if you're not sure how to spell it. And you can use that and, yeah, donate to the prize pool for free. So that's super, super awesome. Please do make sure to go and do that. Alright, as the Zergling of Sort of, we'll be checking things out on the other side of the map. The Baneling nests are finishing up for both sides here as well. As the one lane does get taken out, more Zerglings are here for Denver. 13 hours supply to 8 currently, a 5-worker lead for Sort of because of that. More larvae being invested in these Zerglings earlier on than the side of Sort of, so slight differences in how this money is getting spent early on. Let's see how it comes to play as the third base is under assault now from Denver. Sort of going to need to mount to defense. He's working on his first couple of Banelings. Denver with some good micro so far, splitting up his grouping. Oh no! The Banelings actually detonated on the hatchery. That was less than ideal here. It's going to mean only one Baneling available for the side of Denver right now. 2 Banelings coming up for the side of Sort of. But he takes down the hatchery all the same. Really nicely grabbed by Denver as his Baneling even gets a good connection here. One Baneling detonating on that cocoon, not what sort of was wanting, as Denver is still here with an army supply lead and is looking to continue the pressure. Not wanting to let up just yet. The Banelings. Ooh, okay. First Baneling gets a good connection for Denver. It looks like the second one will be able to finish the job. 2 Baneling detonations needed to kill a Baneling. It looks like some Zerglings are going to trade out and try and snipe the rest of these. Just make this as expensive as possible for the side of sort of. And I love this play from Denver, just splitting off a couple at a time. Now going to hold position on there. Oh my goodness, he makes a Baneling cocoon with it to continue blocking it. That's so nice. So nicely done. As he's able to snipe that queen because of it. Snipes the other Baneling nest, the other Baneling here as well. So nice. 20 more Zerglings are on the way for the side of Denver as he continues to rally more across the map. Again, has an entire hatchery up on his opponent who's trying to go for the Spire, but I'm not thinking that Sword will be able to survive much longer. These Zerglings are looking for the kill as they clean up a good chunk of the Zerglings on the front. Need a few more reinforcements to really finish the job here. Banelings with Denver are arriving from the center of the map. Third hatchery going to be the target of some more pressure as the Baneling comes forward. Not going to find a connection yet. Base gets canceled. Banelings are sort of not getting the best connections here as Denver is pushing forward. Oh my goodness, getting real close to that Baneling. Trying to snipe it down. The Banelings of Denver are here now and going to be able to cut off any reinforcements. The Queen going to get surrounded here in the middle. 30 armor supply to 11 as there's more roaches now in the production tab for Denver. That Spire, though, is finishing up here for sort of, so he will have access to some amount of mutants. Let's see how many he's able to make. He also gets +1 flyer attack at the same time. And again, remember, only has 2 bases of larva here, so it's going to have significantly less available than Denver, because Denver has 3 bases all injected. Not to mention he's making more gas income, but he's also just has more larva available to make more units at a time. But, of course, roaches cannot shoot up, so this Spire could be the saving grace for sort of here and help him catch up from that third base deficit. The Ling spots those Mutalisks moving out, so Denver should know now that is a Spire done. Will need to add on some Spore Crawlers to keep his mineral line safe, but for the time being, won't be seeing them as instead the roaches moved across the map, but they got surrounded. Zerglings catching quite a few of them there. Looks like one of them able to survive. The rest of the roaches arriving, going to try and snipe this queen at the very least, and just buy himself some time. Denver throwing down another roach horn, actually. A little bit of a misclick from him, I think, as these drones continue to get taken down. These roaches just maximizing their damage dealt here on the other side. 22 more Zerglings are on the way behind this, as more mutants continue to get made here for sort of. It's a 16 worker lead for Denver at the moment, as he is making considerably more money than his opponent for the time being, almost 900 more a minute, and climbing. As 5 workers went down to that those roaches trading out. And now here come all the Zerglings, as some Zerglings of sort of come up on near the third base, and we'll be able to snipe this queen. Maybe a couple more shots, and yeah, we'll be able to get that very nicely grabbed as the Zerglings arrive at the third hatchery of sort of. Once again, we'll be able to take this down. Really great pickoffs here for Denver, as keeping this third base out of commission has done wonders for him to secure this worker lead, and he's doing so much pressure on the other side of the map that despite him having so many mutas, he's been unable to do any economic damage with them just yet. Now, for the first time, they'll be able to make their way to his opponent's side of the map. 15 Mutalisks up against 4 queens in terms of anti-air. The Spore Caller is very, very late for Denver. So this could be very rough for him. He might take a ton of damage if sort of goes to the mineral line, but looks like sort of is actually prioritizing hunting down the overlords. And hey, there's actually a lot of overlords out on the map, so he's going to supply block Denver for a good chunk of time. The roaches, meanwhile, though, show themselves, and that's going to force the mutas back home yet again, as these roaches are rolling into the mineral line, taking down the queen, looking for drone kills now, getting 2 already. 3 in total going down. He's just looking to trade out because he has that Hydralisk Den done behind this. Oh, and he burrows to hide from the units. The Overseer is not done just yet. Tunneling Claws about to finish up for the roaches, as more show at the third base now, racking up the drone kills. Really decimating this economy is sort of down to below 30 workers now, as Denver is just doing such a great job of finding opportunities to trade out damage. That Overseer is now done, is going to head up into the main base, but these other roaches at the natural are just doing so much work. This is a really tough spot now for sort of to come back from. GG. Denver striking first here in this best of 5. Pretty phenomenally. Really nicely done by him. Just continuing to find opportunities with those roaches and continuing to just buy himself time with those roaches as well. Really making sure that sort of, despite having that technological advantage in the Spire, was unable to bring that to bear. And by the time we saw him able to even look at sending them across the map, the roaches were already in position, making their way across the center to go and get some of that counter damage and buy himself some very important time. Keep himself safe and ultimately buy him the time he needed to get the response out. Get that Hydralisk Den finished up. Is now in the bottom right position. It is Denver once again from Infinity Gaming. And his opponent up in the top left, down one game from Cascade Esports, is sort of. So, a pretty standard looking game in that last one. We got to see pretty much both sides of the coin in terms of the standard openers here, right? One side goes for the earlier Roach Warren, one side gets the Spire behind it. The Spire, of course, can be very oppressive in the right circumstances, especially against roaches. Obviously, not being able to shoot up makes things very difficult for them. So very often we see that army get sent across the map to try and trade out and maximize the damage, as we saw. But very rarely do we see it be as effective as Denver was able to make it happen there, finding opportunity after opportunity. But just by recognizing when those mutas were sent out on the map, seeing them as they were sniping more of those overlords and immediately rallying those Zerglings over to the third base, Denver did a really, really nice job of that. And so I'm really interested to see if sort of ends up going for Spire again here in game number 2, or if we will get a little bit more mirror match where it'll be Roach Ravager against Roach Ravager or something along those lines. As I do want to quickly point out, guys, we are, I think, 4 followers away from hitting 4,400 followers on this channel. So if you have not followed the stream, please do hit that follow button. It really does help us out. OSC Esports has Season 8 starting up here in about a week, actually. I think exactly a week from today, which is going to be another entire year of weekly tournaments, all earning points for another massive tournament at the beginning of next year. So I think the biggest online league for StarCraft 2. Definitely worth checking out, guys, if you have not followed the channel already. Or checked out more information at sc2online.com. Natural base gets saturated for both players. So far, mirrored except for the speed is here for Denver, and on the other side we have sort of continuing to bank up his gas, just now starting up that speed. 2 on the gas here. Do the just 2 on gas as well for Denver on the other side. Sending this drone down into the natural base. Pretty standard stuff. Speed slightly slower here for sort of, but don't think it'll make too big a difference. Third hatchery is coming down for both as well. Zerglings of Denver will go ahead and spot this out. Baneling Nest coming down for both players as well. As it looks like we will once again get some Ling Bane duels here in the center of the map. Last time we saw this go pretty heavily in favor of Denver. Had a little bit better control. Able to get those connections and keep his army alive for a bit longer. Did a very good job of maximizing his surface area on that third hatchery. See if he'll be able to do so once again as the swell of Zerglings begins. We do have an evolution chamber being taken for sort of that Denver is not taking, so that's going to mean more gas invested from sort of, but it'll also mean a stronger army once he can get that finished up. Imagining it'll be the +1 melee coming through. We'll see what it ends up being as that gas continues to climb, and there is the +1 melee indeed getting taken. Going to help out his units winning these trades. And it'll especially help if the Roach transition comes through from Denver, right? If he's trying to move into the next phase of this game, +1 melee Zerglings do a phenomenal job of trading out against that. More Zerglings coming through from sort of, looking to threaten the third base of Denver. The positions have been swapped here in this game as more Banelings get added on. Ooh, sort of finds the cocoons, looking for a couple. And he gets it. No connections coming through just yet for the side of Denver as it's sort of heading up into the main base. Banelings having to get in that middle line, gets 4. Okay, could have been worse. All the Zerglings up in the main base here will get cleared out by Denver. Looks like trying to morph a few Banelings up above that mineral line. Doesn't look like he'll be able to get too many more done. More Zerglings coming into the natural base at the same time, trying to snipe the Queen. As Denver did a nice job responding to the cocoons up in the main base. Meanwhile, the Zerglings over here at the third trying to get a little bit more damage done, cutting off a few on the rally. The Banelings on the ramp. Ooh, Zerglings aren't quite able to snipe that queen. Narrowly stays alive as Denver holds on to his side of the map. Oh my goodness, Banelings. Oh, get a great connection for sort of. As Denver was trying to break them on the front. We have more Zerglings on the way across the map. 24 arm supply. Ooh, good connections for Denver this time, though. To the 20 of Denver. Denver, though, with an 8-worker lead behind all this. He just has to stay alive. He has the better economy behind this, but that +1 melee is coming ever closer for the side of sort of. That's going to give him a significant edge in this Ling Bane war. Ooh, the Banelings of Denver get 2 of the ones of sort of. Just 1 left alive for the Red Zerg as these 3 queens come down to defend the third base. One of them very low on health, and that creep spread not quite connected just yet. More Banelings are getting added on here for Denver. First one in the front, trying to save this third base queen. Looks like he will be able to. The rest of the Lings now targeting the other queens up on the right side. One Baneling having to get committed to save them. 24 to 14 the army supply, but the worker count continues to grow for Denver. 41 to 28 as the Zerglings now get some alone time with that last queen and will be able to finish it off. Nicely grabbed here by sort of. Army supply 19 in favor of him. He's continuing to rally more across the map, but the full wall is here at the front, and the Baneling connections are phenomenal for Denver, buying him a lot of time. This third hatchery continues to get beaten away, and it looks like it will get taken down. The third base falls. 9-worker lead for the side of Denver is another good Baneling connection for him. Comes through another good connection here in the center as well. He's buying himself a lot of space with that now, as the Banelings of sort of will finally get cleared out, and it looks like his aggression will end. His Roach Warren finished up now for Denver, so he's able to now start making that transition into that Roach Tech, should he so choose. And that +1 melee gives sort of the snipe on the third base, but will not be able to break Denver out of this game just yet. And of course, with that economic lead, that's going to mean more money in the bank for Denver, which will mean more units to really help him with this Roach transition when he does decide to make that call. Though for now, he's sticking with the Zerglings and going to be trying to match the Ling Bane tech up against an opponent who has +1 melee. Keep that in mind, guys. So these Zerglings are significantly more effective. Denver is trying to establish a new third base on the back side of this, but as still has his up and running. Of course, hasn't taken really much damage on his side of the map. Here we go. Trade's about to start. Here's this. Banelings trade out for each other. Nice surface area for Denver. He's sniping the hatchery. Ooh, pulls away from the Banelings. Takes it down very low right out the gate. Zerglings in the center of the map here for sort of are looking for more of an opportunity. Top right position. Denver is still running around, trying to find his way around those queens, most importantly. Vinecrawler, ooh, not quite able to get the full wall, and it does get surrounded. Now this natural base in a little bit of trouble as the Zerglings get into the mineral line. Queen getting surrounded here, and it will go down. The drone's having to fight for a bit here. Chase away these Zerglings. More Zerglings getting rallied in now. The wall, once again, not able to get finished off. Another queen gets sniped here by these Zerglings, sort of doing a great job of prioritizing those queens and keeping this larva income to a significantly reduced level. I mean, we have 1 inject here in the main base, no inject at the natural. That third base, of course, not having any queen because it just finished up. Oh, and the Banelings of Denver a little bit too far away from the ones that sort of tried to get the snipe 2 for 2, but was unable to do so. This third hatchery taking some serious hits. Denver's coming in. Will he be able to save it? It doesn't look like it. Down it goes. As the third hatchery is killed for the second time in this game by sort of. Now Denver is running across the map with these Lings. Sort of is trying to make that transition into the Spire tech, and that's going to mean he's down in army supply right now. 21 to 28 currently. These Zerglings have a little bit of time. They might be able to snipe this third base. While that transition is trying to come through, they run straight into the natural base mineral line. They see the Spire. Working on trading out in this mineral line, killing a lot of the Zerglings. Banelings are running up here from sort of. He has a ton of them available here. The Lings are now up in the main base. Doesn't look like they're getting too much done here. Trying to hold position to snipe some more workers. Baneling connection is decent. There we go. We'll finally be clearing out more of that. Here are the Lings from sort of on the other side. Continuing to do a lot of good work. And yeah, the third base never being able to get up for any really good amount of time for the side of Denver is just so devastating. That hatchery gets killed, not even canceled on the other side. Lost that third hatchery 3 times now overall. That is devastating to the mood of Denver, as the Roaches, though, are very powerful here. But again, those +1 Zerglings are now coming in on all sides, and they trade out so very nicely, killing all these Roaches here. sort of is looking great in game number 2, looking poised to equalize in this series, as the Mutas will be coming out to a much more favorable game state this time around. The +1 missile attack is about to finish up for the Roaches. Queens getting brought across the map here as well to try and help out with this, but the Lings are doing some very nice work, sniping everything here in the center. Going to be able to catch these 2 Queens as well, and GG will be called as Cascades sort of takes game number 2 and equalizes in this best of 5. A good move by him, some great movement with the Zerglings, and we saw just kind of the roles reversed there. He was able to take down that third base time after time and never really allowed Denver's economy to get up and running. He was never able to really do the things he was wanting to, right? It was never really an option for him to be on equal footing with sort of. The roles were almost completely reversed there, where we still saw sort of going for the earlier Spire, but we saw him instead that game be the one to kill the third base rather than being the one on the defensive, like in that first game. So now, without further ado, guys, we'll go and head into game number 2. Up in the top right position in the red, looking to carry on the momentum from Cascade Esports. He's sort of. Ooh, with a 12 pool coming down for both sides, actually, is the bottom left in the orange. It's Infinity Gaming's Denver. Okay, so might be getting a much faster game here. Let's see how this goes. These Ling Bane battles have been going fairly evenly. I think overall, maybe a slight edge to Denver in terms of the number of connections he's been getting, but these guys have been just duking it out time and time again. Now, we'll be both with very fast pulls. Going to have some very early Zerglings. Be looking to pressure those natural bases of their opponent. Perhaps a little bit more. Let's see what they'll be able to get done, as the first 6 should be coming up here pretty rapidly for both sides. And they'll be making their way through the center of the map. Neither player taking any gas with this, so we should still see expansion come down on the backside, as they both do go ahead and secure that. Lings making their way out. As Taco Stuff, cheers to the 2 bits. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting OSC. 4 followers away, guys, from 4,400. If you haven't followed the stream, please do. Helps us out. As these Lings are arriving, Denver on the defense, has his Zergling split up. He's going to try and bait these Zerglings in and get the surround. He does so successfully. Trying to cut him off from escape, and he does. Zerglings now trapped on the ramp, and sort of going to have to fight a losing battle here. 2 more coming up to pressure that natural hatchery, but not going to be much help. Four Zerglings now at the natural base, going to force a little bit of a response from Denver, as sort of tries to escape. I think he finally finds his way out, but some nice hits from Denver as he makes that retreat. Picks off a couple more. Lings is sort of will be making their way back home finally here through the center of the map as the natural hatchery comes up. Speed started up now for sort of, as Denver still does not quite have enough gas. He took his a little bit later than his opponent. Okay, Lings from Denver not going to be able to do too much here just yet. On the backside of this, Denver is continuing to make drones. He's on a 5-worker advantage already. We'll be extending that up to 7, but more Zerglings are on the way for sort of, and that could mean trouble for the side of Denver if he's not careful and doesn't continue to make army. 10 more on the way now, so looks like he should be okay. No further tech being taken, no gas income for Denver, no gas income for sort of either, so no bailing nests in this game. Just going to be straight Zerglings for the time being. 19 army supply to 16. Spinecrawler coming down to the natural base for Denver as the Overlord in the center getting chased away. Lings of Denver just outside the third base position of sort of, ready to come in here and try and get some damage done should the opportunity present itself. Sort of coming into the natural base, looking for some drone kills, gets one, trying to snipe this Spinecrawler, but too much here for Denver. We'll be able to make a nice defense. More Zerglings are arriving from sort of 22 to 24. That army supplies. Denver knows he just needs to make a defense. Actually cancels the Spinecrawler here. Feels comfortable making this fight. Speed not quite done for Denver, and it is done for sort of. Even on army supply, but with the 2 queens, defender's advantage for Denver is very strong. And speed finishes up. It looks like he will be able to make this defense. 6 drones dying on the other side. Meanwhile, as those Zerglings moved in from Denver. And GG gets called. Game 3 goes the way of Denver. Now up 2-1 in this best of 5. Really nicely done. Just a pretty straightforward game there. The Zerglings on the other side moving in as that fight opened up in his natural base. Not leaving any room for sort of to be able to mount that defense. All of his Zerglings on the other side of the map getting committed to try and break that natural base. And ultimately unable to do so. Denver with the little bit later of speed, but in exchange had the couple of queens there to help out with that defense, had the defender's advantage, and used that to his advantage very, very well. We now load in to game number 4, and in the top left position, in the orange, looking to continue this momentum and close out this best of 5. He's Denver from Infinity Gaming once again, going for the 12 pool. His opponent down in the bottom right position in the red, sort of looking to force a game number 5. Fighting to stay alive here in the lower bracket of this tournament. Winner moving on to the lower bracket round 6, excuse me, to face off against Eric. That'll be happening tomorrow, I do believe. Pool finishing up here for Denver. Of course, no expansion for him due to that 12 pool. So the first 6 lings going to start making their way across the map. They're going to have some very nice pressure towards this hatchery as there's still not a pool available. It was a hatch gas pool coming out from the side of sort of. No drone scout from him either, of course, is not really something you do in this matchup very often. Denver will now be taking his natural expansion as those first 6 lings are out. A Bailey nest coming down behind this as he continues to mine more gas. And he actually ends up not expanding. Sent that drone down there, but then thought better of it. Zerglings completely undetected here. Sort of not having any idea this is coming. Second Overlord will see this, but it's going to be a little bit too late for him to make a response in time. Not going to really want to pull any drones to fight this. They're going to need these Zerglings to be available. More Zerglings continue to get rallied across the map as Denver is wanting to end this game with this attack. The Zerglings getting already good damage on the natural base. Here come the drones. Super critical if they get involved quickly here and get some hits on the Zerglings. So right now, some great micro from Denver, maximizing his damage dealt and minimizing the amount of area that the drones have to fight him. Now the Banelings are available and they're going to be coming in, making things so much more difficult for the side of sort of. The Banelings getting close to the drones. They're looking for it. Oh my goodness, it's so close. The health bars are so low now on all these workers. They're going to be unable to take this fight any longer. And the Zerglings are now going to have some alone time with this hatchery once again. 2 more Banelings getting made over on the left-hand side. A natural base about halfway done behind this for the side of Denver. As he snipes the queen, gets a full surround on it. Down it goes. Now the drones are trying to fight once again here in the natural base mineral line. But 3 in total have fallen. 5 in total have fallen now as Banelings are coming in. Oh my goodness, they get the connections. 7 in total have gone down. Down goes the natural base hatchery. Down it goes more of the workers. 9 in total have fallen now as Denver now has the worker lead after going for the 12 pool. And that is a phenomenal series of events here for the Orange Zerg in game number 4 as he is now poised to close out this best of 5. Zerglings of Denver trading out here in the center, catching some of these red Zerglings of sort of. Who's backing off once again. Arm supplies about dead even. The queen here for sort of will give him the edge as the natural base of Denver is getting saturated now behind this. Denver knows that he's just trying to keep up pressure, right? Just trying to keep sort of here, trying to keep him defensive and responding to this. And every time he's having to build army, that's more time he's not building drones. That's more time he's not being able to reestablish that third base. It's going to really start to weigh on him here as it's a 6 worker advantage for the side of Denver on the back side of things, making already pretty decently more money than his opponent. A couple of Zerglings sort of will be making their way across though, going to be looking to get some damage dealt if they can. Denver with more lings will be making their way across to go and reinforce his position. Continue pressuring the natural of sort of. Ling's getting cleared out here as it's 12 to 14 in the army supply. More Bailings for Denver getting made. Bailing Nest just now finished up for the side of Sort of. He will be able to start mounting a defense, but again, down an entire hatchery at the moment, and with no signs of being able to make up for it. He's going to need a phenomenal engagement, some phenomenal connections here for Sort of to come back in this game. Speed finishes up for both players. The Zerglings to Denver already coming up on the upper hand, as it looks like Sort of is just going to run straight across the map and try and buy himself some time and look for some opportunities to do some damage, try and escape from the Zerglings to Denver, but it does not look like he'll be able to do so. Bailings arriving for Denver on the other side of the map as well. Sort of continues to lead him on a wild goose chase, but now at the natural base, once again, sees some orange units that are present. Bailing at the top of the ramp gets detonated. And here comes the rest of the Zerglings from Denver. Meanwhile, in the top position, all the Zerglings getting started to trade out here as well. The natural base, this queen, will get taken down. Good split from Denver. Keeping himself alive, and GG gets called as Denver takes game number 4 and closes out this best of 5 with a 3-1 scoreline. GG, well played, and congratulations to him as he moves on in this bracket, and he will be facing off against Eric another day, I believe tomorrow. Congratulations to him. Our next match, guys, going to be Vanya versus Euthermal. Best of 5. We'll be having that coming up here in just a few minutes, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's broadcast of the OSC Season 7 Championship. This is, of course, a $6,000 plus prize pool that you can donate to completely for free by checking out !Matcherino. Donate for free with the code OSCS7. Hundreds of that money goes to the players. Thanks so much to everybody who's already checked that out. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll be right back with more StarCraft right after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the OSC Season 7 Championship. My name's Coltarin, bringing you guys the action here today for this next best of 5. It's Vanya taking on Uthermal. Going to be a TVZ, and this should be a very, very fun one, guys. Really looking forward to this as we are currently loading into the game. Getting things ready here for this first game of the best of 5. Thermal taking on Vanya should be so much fun, guys. Really looking forward to this. Let's go ahead and head into it. Nothing further to say. Let's just get this started. As we are here in the bottom right position, in the blue. Playing from Russia, the 3D clan. Vanya. Excuse me, Star. Not 3D. Star Esports. Pardon me. His opponent up in the top left position in the red. From Team Liquid. It's Uthermal. The 24-year-old Terran. As it is going to be a pretty standard opener from the side of the red Terran. He will be a hatch first from the side of Vanya. And good overload pathing here from Vanya, going to be able to give him the extra vision. So if it was a proxy barracks, he'd be able to see the bunkers coming up here in this scenario. But of course, won't be that. Going to be a pretty standard looking game here for the time being. We'll see kind of how this game's going to play out. I'm really interested to see how they're going to be matching up against each other here, what sort of style we'll be seeing from Uthermal today. I think it's pretty safe to say that Uthermal is a pretty big favorite here. I don't know about pretty big. I think Vanya definitely is capable of winning a game or two, maybe taking the series here. I think it's just going to come down to his form, right? How good is he playing on this day? How well, and of course, how well is Uthermal playing, right? It's just very interesting chain of events that we'll have to see go down as a natural hatchery, natural command center, gets thrown down for Uthermal. Back on the other side, sees the hatchery finish up, and we'll be able to just go keep an eye on that third base. First 4 lings on the way for Vanya, as he is just keeping 1 on the gas at the moment. Won't have speed before too long as a factory is thrown down for Uthermal. That Reaper will be arriving on the other side here. Gonna begin these trades and get things going. Almost able to finish it off there, but good saves by Vanya, keeping that drone alive. The Reaper will just be dancing around, wants to get that creep tumor kill, but nice job by Vanya. Placing it nice and safely there in the back. Reactor is finishing up back at home for Uthermal as the starport finishes up for him as well. And we do see that factory get swapped over, beginning that double Hellion production. Overlord from Vanya, keeping an eye on the natural base, wants to keep an eye on that gas count. So we'll see if another refinery gets taken, help him make an informed decision as to what is coming his way. As the second gas in the main base has been taken. Notice how he also only sends a singular Zergling over to, or singular Overlord over to that side. Doesn't want to lose too many of them to a potential Viking, as one of those creep tumors did get taken down by the Reaper, which is always very nice. Delaying more of that creep spread and keeping his opponent at bay, keeping him from connecting that third base as early as he might be wanting to. The 2 queens below this are keeping things at bay as the third hatchery is finished up and will be beginning to get saturated here. We have Viking production beginning for Uthermal back at home. Hellion production continuing as to be expected here. These first couple of Hellions grouped up with the Reaper. The Reaper staying alive is very nice for this, as it's able to soak up some shots from the queens. Of course, able to regenerate, which is always very, very nice. Couple of drones continuing to get transferred over as the Zerglings are plenty enough to threaten away just a small amount of Hellions. More reinforcements coming over for him as a Liberator going to get made from that starport next. So still not swapping it over onto any add-on, and still no add-on coming in for the barracks either. So not a too good idea of what's coming up for the side of Uthermal. Tech Lab getting taken, so Could be looking to swap that onto the starport still. Could be looking to transition more into bio. Though mech wouldn't be surprising here. A couple of Hellions get caught. Nice grab by Vanya, as Euthermal's unable to make much happen initially, and it is a slight worker advantage for Vanya, as to be expected. He's adding on Spore Crawlers, making sure that he stays nice and safe, as it will indeed be Stim coming up for Euthermal, and additional barracks will now be taken, going up to that 3 racks, with a reactor coming up on the starport, getting himself ready for a lot of couple of medevacs with a lot of bio beneath it. It's a very powerful timing. Can very often catch Zergs off guard and do a bunch of damage. At the very least, it's able to contest this creep a little bit more efficiently. Or at the very least at the same time as these Hellions, who are still looking for opportunities. I like the double Evo wall here, keeping the Hellions from being able to come in from this position. They'd have to squeeze between the extractors here if they really wanted to try and do something, and the Queen just stands there. Very nice. Like that setup from Vanya. Really nice and defensive, as the Liberator moved in on the other side, but wasn't able to get any kills, actually. The Queen, the Queen and the Spore Crawler in a fantastic position to respond to that. This Liberator will have to head home. Unsuccessful. These Hellions may be able to get a couple tumor kills here. Ends up just getting the one, and will continue to back away. Siege tank production continuing for Euthermal. His first one just now out as his third base gets turned into the orbital. And, ooh, actually caught a Queen there. That's very nice. Not too many units going down here overall, but it is a resources loss advantage for the side of Euthermal, very slightly. You know, nothing too significant. More barracks are getting added on here for the Euthermal, as he's going up to now, I think, 5 barracks. We have his third base landing on location, and it's not looking like Vanya is really in much position to apply much pressure towards it, as it is 21 army supply to 43 in favor of Euthermal. We've got 5 Banelings getting added on for Vanya. He's working on Grooved Spines for those Hydralisks, as he'll be going for a Lingbane Hydra composition up against this pretty standard-looking Bio Force, with 1-1 going to be finishing up here a slight bit faster than the 1-1 melee of the Vanya's units, so he'll have an upgraded advantage, and if he's able to take advantage of that, it will be a very powerful timing. It might be able to just be enough to knock Vanya out of this game. It's going to be very tough for him to hold on to this. It's going to be all coming down to these engagements, right? He needs to find ways around those tank lines. He's going to need to not take too much damage from this double drop. Right now, the Viking is actually freeing up some of the airspace here, pushing that Overlord away. So now the double medevac can come through on that left-hand side, and we may even just see it get used to clear out creep. We'll have to see what he ends up doing with it. As the main army of Vanya is over here by the third, Liberator gets set up, gets a single kill, but not too much more just yet. The Hellions are above this as well, waiting for their opportunity. One Hydra goes down, but they take down the Liberator. 1-1 is finished, and here come the Marines unloading in the main base. They find that Queen, trading on against these Zerglings very well, actually, killing quite a few of them. 1-1 still not done. Banelings are here now. Hellions not quite taking advantage of their opportunities, still just chilling up here on the top side as Muscular Augments comes through for Vanya, working on that Hydra speed. As the third base is getting saturated for Euthermal, going to be feeling very comfortable in this early game. 60 workers to 80 at the moment. Vanya making considerably more money off of his 5. Is this 5 bases already? My goodness. Quite a few bases for Vanya. 5th hatchery is on the way. +1 vehicle weapons getting taken for Euthermal. Going to be getting those tanks a little bit extra bite. This Reaper looking for some information here in the center. Centrifugal hooks is already done for the side of Vanya, so he's going to have that Baneling speed to help him find connections, and especially on creep. That'll be very tough for Euthermal to be able to respond to well, right? Hellbats might be a good addition to this army comp, or being able to. We'll see how good his splits can be. This is quite a bit of them available. We have 11 more Banelings getting added on. The creep spread continuing to get contested by Euthermal, pushing it back now, as it had been pretty decent, but looks like it will now be pushed back to a little bit more manageable of levels. But Vanya is doing a phenomenal job with his creep spread, already almost at the top right position, making his way along the bottom side of this map as well. I mean, this is all very, very nicely done by the Blue Zerg, as he moves in now with quite a few Banelings and quite a few Lings. But doesn't look like he'll be able to do too much. The Bio Force in the top right going to clear out more of these creep tumors, force that army of Vanya back, and make him respond to this. Rather than being aggressive, here's a ton of Zerglings from Vanya moving across the bottom side of this map, and they get spotted by 1 medevac's worth of Marines. A few of them get left behind and surrounded as Vanya is rallying the edge of this sensor tower, now pushing into all of these Marines and tanks. Wanted to get a snipe there, but the tank line was just barely in range. Fourth base will now be looking to get landed here for Thermal. We'll be turning that, of course, into a planetary, as to be expected. These Hellions are ready to push back in near this fourth base should the opportunity present itself. Viking is actually still alive down here, hunting down some more Overlords if he can. Hellions now moving in. Ooh, just on the backside of those Zerglings. Okay. Into the middle line he goes. So main army of Thermal on the bottom side of this map at the same time as well. And the worker count is already starting to dwindle as Hellbats get morphed in to help him continue this fight in the middle line. Meanwhile, the main army gets set up. The tanks in a good spread. 3 farther back, 1 a little bit farther forward. But there are some Lings available. Banelings rolling forward. They're trying to get into this. The Marine's not cutting back quite as well as he would have liked, and looks like he will lose some more. 27 workers in total go down, but he does take down that hatchery on the other side. Meanwhile, the Hellbats have cleaned up this mineral line. They are now going to get pushed back by the army of Vanya, as he sits on 67 workers behind this. Thermal use a bit more damage. 37 workers behind this is not a ton. That income advantage will continue to climb in favor of Vanya here, as Thermal lost so many workers back at home. Unable to get that wall up in time, and so many Banelings rolling into that natural base. Finally clearing out the last of these Zerglings, but loses even a couple more SCVs for it. Nice job by him, though, in continuing to build these SCVs. Does have his 5th base done now. He works on turning that into an orbital. The planetary is done at the 4th as well to help keep that safe from any run-bys. Tanks here at the 3rd, making things even more secure. Vanya just still regrouping here as we have the 6th hatchery being taken for him. We do have more Vipers getting Vipers getting added on here now for him, 3 at a time coming on out, and that's going to be very, very useful to help him find engagements against this tank line, really. And if we've seen it be so effective against little groups of bio as well, these Banelings are going to try and roll into this mineral line. Let's see if they can find the connections. Thermal sees this coming. The planetary gets its first shot. They all crash into the base, but the repairs come through in time. That will not be able to do too much. The medevac drops here at the 4th base. Now heading into the natural. We'll see those Vipers gaining energy here. Oh, actually, not quite seeing it, but should be able to see it here soon. The army of Thermal, meanwhile, moving back towards this 6th hatchery once again. Going to be pressuring it. 52 to 69, that worker count, as the army supplies are decently in favor of Thermal here. 30 more army supply to his name. Or 18 more army supply to his name, excuse me. 3-3 is coming up for Vanya, but won't be done for some time. 10 seconds to the 3-3 of Thermal. The tank's moving away here. One abduct comes through onto a Marine. That wasn't quite what he wanted. So many Banelings rolling through here, but the splits from Thermal are great. The tank on the low ground gets sniped down, and so many of these Marines are just going down. There were so many Banelings there. And having to pick up those tanks with the medevac to try and keep them alive meant that they weren't firing in that fight. Now the Marines of Thermal are running over to the other tank that's here at the 3rd base, trying to hold on here, trying to keep himself alive. The Banelings are now coming rolling in. We've got more bio rallying in from the main base, but it's not looking like enough. The Banelings are just continuing to roll on through, and Vanya, on top of all of these Marines, will be shredding through this. The 5th base of Thermal gets taken down. The Marines looking for what they can, but it will not be enough. Vanya able to take some convincing fights there, catching Thermal. He was trying to get set up multiple times and was able to finish that fight very, very convincingly. The blinding clouds on top of the tank line being able to force him to move them into the medevacs to try and evacuate them to safety ended up not being enough. He was unable to get them reestablished before the fight was already over. He lost so many Marines, had to lose out on so much uptime of that damage from having to kite back and run away from so many Centrifugal Hooks Banelings, right? It was just so many coming through, and the Hydras behind that doing some nice damage. A very good game from this guy down in the bottom right side of the map. Up 1-0 in this best of 5. It's Vanya from Star Gaming. And his opponent up in the top left-hand side in the red, it's Team Liquid's Thermal. So Thermal going to need to make some adjustments here, right? The drops for him, not able to do too much damage whatsoever. The Hellions, by the time they were able to find some damage, had already been cleaned. Were already losing even more workers on his side of the map than he was killing of Vanya's. And so we'll need to see that defense be a little bit more on point from Thermal. We'll need to see him find a little bit better of an answer to those Banelings, right? I'm curious if he ends up Well, I'm curious if he ends up adding on like more Vikings to try and threaten away the Vipers, or if he just goes for like Widow Mines instead of Siege Tanks in this next fight, this next game. Because the Siege Tanks, while they are a much more consistent form of AoE, that is the weakness of them, is they are vulnerable to those blinding clouds, and of course vulnerable to just multiple angles of attack. And having so many Zerglings there, he was able to just flood around that army and never really leave any room for Euthermal to be able to kite back the way that he was wanting to, and have those Siege Tanks be at their maximum effectiveness. We have the Reaper on the way for Euthermal, and it looks like it is going to get rallied back into the base, as it is a early pull that came out from the side of Vanya with the Roachworm behind this. So looking like a Ling Ravager play coming out from the blue Zerg, and then be some very early aggression. It was really just more light pressure, right? It's not super all in or anything, but it will be a few Ravagers that'll be split off with this. It's going to be looking to applying some pressure to the front, having a few Biles available, a few Roaches with that. We'll see what he'll be able to get done with it. And it can turn into an all-in, right? It's going to depend on what he ends up doing with this natural hatchery. Could just look to try and Ling flood him here. You know, it's not quite 100% sure, but that SCV got in, got the full scout, so that will force the Roach one to get canceled, as Vanya will not want to go for that now that it has been completely spotted. So, going to be playing a little bit more standard of a game now. Speed gets started up for him. He pulls completely off gas, and we'll just work on saturating his natural base. The bunker coming up at the front for Euthermal, as the natural base will be coming on up. As the factory will finish. No add-on this time from Euthermal, unless he wanted to, he's expecting some sort of attack, so was making sure he had maximum uptime of producing units from this barracks. Didn't want to get caught off guard by any early attack, and that's going to continue to cost him here, as he's now making a single Widow Mine and a single Marine at a time, weakening any, potential Widow Mine drop he was wanting to go for here. So he'll have less of these Widow Mines available. He's going to have less units around this as well because of all this. The Reaper make his way in here, and it will see that the Roach Warren got canceled. Seeing that there's no gas income as well, this should allow him to go ahead and get those add-ons safely. So Reaper goes down, and here comes the Tech Lab now onto that factory. The barracks. Where did the barracks go? Oh, it came down here to hunt the Overlord. Okay. Coming on back to get that reactor up and running. Starport. Ooh, looks like we'll get swapped over onto that Tech Lab. There's a Fusion Core on the way behind this. So Battlecruiser play going to be the call from Euthermal. Love this choice. I love Battlecruisers in this matchup. They are so lethal. Even with Zergs, I feel like being much better than they have been of responding to this. Still love it. Roachworn is now coming down once again for Vanya. And that's not going to be much of a help against this Battlecruiser, right? It's going to be a matter of how many queens he has, where those Spore Crawlers are positioned, and, of course, where the Battlecruiser ends up committing, right? If he commits in the wrong place, will not be able to get much damage, but then in other times, we've seen, in a game, in one of Clem's games yesterday, we saw a single Battlecruiser get 12 queen kills. Or it was 2 Battlecruisers that got 12 queen kills. Like, it was just absurd, and that was just through good positioning and through good awareness of where his opponent's queens were. So let's see if Euthermal can do that same thing, right? It's going to come down to him recognizing where Vanya is investing his resources and where the opportunity lies for these Battlecruisers. So though, of course, might end up having to use them defensively, as there's 10 Roaches on the way right now, and they will be making their way straight across the map. I have to imagine they will be, at least. Yeah, there they go. Running through the center. That Battlecruiser will be finishing up right about the time this army shows, and having that Battlecruiser for defense is going to be super important, as he will have to just buy as much time as he can. The Battlecruiser obviously eventually will clean up everything that is sent his way, but it's going to be quite some time, right? A lot of health bars left alive for these. All these Roaches are able to be very durable. He actually misses that army. Oh my goodness, but he sees a Roach now. Okay, that's huge. Oh, but I don't know if they actually saw it. He's not pulling the Hellions back just yet. Here are the Zerglings out to front. That Battlecruiser is about to pop out, but this wall will go down, and that natural base will be under fire. This mineral line in some serious trouble. 30 army supply to 54, 46 to 34. That worker supply as the natural mineral line now under siege. SCVs are not fighting. They are not running away. They are just getting eviscerated by the Zerglings. Hellions on that ramp going to be clearing out as many as they can. All the Ravagers getting targeted down. Repairs need to come through. He needs to keep that wall up, but down it goes. Now the SCV is going to try and hold the line, but they're actually unable to. And the battlecruiser is continuing to do what it can, but he's losing so many workers right now. The third base and the natural orbital will actually refinish the wall at the front to keep any future reinforcements out, but more Zerglings are arriving. He's going to be unable to land that. The battlecruiser in the main base is trying to maximize the amount of kills on the roaches he can get to try and finish this off. The natural orbital is getting a lot of damage taken. It's already on fire, and it looks like it will end up burning down eventually. 36 workers in total have gone down. The fusion core now going down. A second battlecruiser is about to finish up. Back at home for Vanya, he already has a layer on the way, and he will have 3 spore crawlers coming up as well. He's working on all the defenses to make sure he doesn't get killed by this battlecruiser follow-up, which now has a second battlecruiser available. Oh man, and more Zerglings are now here, running into this mineral line. 9 workers left alive for Euthermal, but I don't think they'll be alive much longer as these Hellions fight to the last man. But ultimately do go down, and now down goes every single worker that Euthermal has. He has enough money to make 1 more SCV, which he will be working on. And he does have, I mean, he does have 3 orbitals overall. He has 1 landed over here as well. He's calling in mules into his main base to get some income going. And again, he does have 2 battlecruisers now coming in at the third base, at the natural base, excuse me. He takes down the spore crawler. Now going to be able to start sniping down these queens. Going to be able to start getting some damage back his way. Sniping down this next queen as well. 2 going down so far. As now these 2 spore crawlers will be the next targets for these battlecruisers. One of them already getting taken very low and no teleport available on it for quite some time. The queens are their next focus. And they continue to take him down. Behind this, Euthermal is only able to make workers. He's trying to catch up in this economy as best as he can, but he has single-digit workers to the 43 of Vanya. And I mean, just to give you guys what you already knew, that income advantage is significant in favor of Vanya. These battlecruisers are really the only hope. They're going to do all they can. As on the other side of the map, the wall will begin to get attacked. Barracks and the factories making up that wall, making it much more durable than your average one. Queen targeting down the low battlecruiser. They will be able to finish it off. 1 more shot. Down it goes. 1 battlecruiser left alive here as it tries to get another queen kill. That third base had to get lifted off as Euthermal had a position down there, but of course wasn't really mining from it, so not a major deal. But not going to be able to call down any more mules from it. These Zerglings were unable to break the base on the other side because the wall is just, again, much more durable than a standard one. With just Zerglings, it's not really an option. But it doesn't even really matter at this point. I mean, this battlecruiser is doing all it can. It was able to take down that natural base hatchery, which is nice. And it does do, you know, it does some significant work in terms of delaying follow-up from Vanya, in terms of delaying, you know, his income, of course, throws a little bit of a wrench in that, but he's already so far behind at this point. It is a significant hill to climb. This battlecruiser, oh, barely escapes. 22 HP left on him as he will get repaired up. Look at this. He barely has enough money to do that repair. He is super, super broke. Very, very low on money. Infernal Pre-Igniter are going to be coming through here, going to be helping these Hellions trade out a little bit better. Let's see what they can do. He's only down 10 army supply right now. Making his way in here. It's just circling so far. 10 roaches are popping out, but they're not done just yet. Infernal Pre-Igniter not done just yet either, though. Hellions getting on this ramp, getting some good shots into the Zerglings, killing quite a few of them, but now the roaches are out, and these Hellions will start to get targeted down. They're in the middle line, going to be looking for as much as they can get done. 7 going down, but yeah, will not be enough. GG, Vanya, now up 2-0 in this best of 5. Very, very nicely played by him. He is on top of his game right now, and looking dominant against Euthermal. He is doing phenomenal work right now against the Team Liquid Terran. I mean, it just does not seem that he has the answer to what is coming his way. The battlecruisers were unable to find the damage he was looking for, really, with any efficiency. The battlecruisers did get some they got some good damage done, but it was just too late, right? It was the attack from Vanya arriving much too soon and getting way too much value for Euthermal to be able to stay alive. And so now we are here in game number 3, and it's this guy in the top left position, now on the brink of eliminating Euthermal. It's Vanya from Star Gaming. His opponent's on the ropes, down 0-2 in this best of 5, gonna need to reverse sweep. It's Euthermal. For some Team Liquid. Reminder, guys, if you have not checked out the Matcherino page, you can donate for free with the code OSCS7. That adds $1 to the prize pool. You can just type !Matcherino in the chat to add that money to the prize pool. 100% of that money goes to the players, doesn't get pocketed by us or anything. So please do check that out, guys, as the barracks comes up inside the base of Euthermal. So despite him being down 0-2, does not want to go for any proxy racks or anything like that. Going to be playing a fairly standard opener here. I mean, the standard opener here so far. So it's going to be a Hatchcast pool coming out from Vanya on the other side. So we'll get a pretty standard opener for both sides. Vanya is very worried about getting proxied, so he's going around making sure he checks all those positions. Reaper on the way for Euthermal, of course, and we'll see when he ends up adding on this additional tech. He's taking his natural base now. Factory, I'm sure, going to be coming up here fairly soon after this Reaper is done. We are just 2 followers away from 4,400 followers on this channel, guys, so if you have not followed the stream, please do so. It really does help us out. Help us hit that milestone today in one of the final days of the OSC Season 7 Championship. This SCV of Euthermal is going to be checking things out, and really the question for me is going to be how Euthermal mixes things up here in game number 3, right? His moves both times have just been kind of well countered by the side of Vanya, right? The earlier aggression coming through from the blue Zerg, getting him so much value, and in that last game, really just not leaving any room for Euthermal to be able to even, really utilize what he was wanting to do, right? He had the battle cruisers, which, were a good call, but ultimately that attack from Vanya arrived just way too soon. He did not have what he needed to make that defense. The wall not being able to get repaired either, all continuing to cost him, and so I'm interested if he ends up going for a different composition here, or a different approach in this third game, as he's been going for pretty much the same reactored Hellion production regardless of the follow-up afterwards in those first 2 games. A starport, of course, coming down once again, and barracks swaps over with the factory. Speed is finishing here relatively soon for Vanya. He will finally get that creep tumor up. That Reaper was able to snipe the first one, which is very nice. Starport's finishing up. There's no add-on here, so it looks like potential Liberator play from Euthermal once again. There it goes. Wouldn't have hated a Hellion drop here either, but Liberator going to be the call. We saw last time we went for this Liberator that Vanya's response was very, very good. He did a phenomenal job of responding to that Hellion to that Liberator and keeping it from doing too much damage. These Hellions and Reaper looking for another creep tumor. They should be able to get that one. Nice little grab there. Getting a couple of Zerglings as well. You know, it's nice. It's nothing major. Not gonna really change too much, but always good to get some more of those tumors wherever he can. Delay this creep spread as the Zerglings are looking for these Hellions. Good micro so far to keep them safe. Nades his own Reaper to try and get him to safety, but it will get taken down. Reinforcement Hellions are now coming up from the center of the map as a Roachworm comes up behind this. And hey guys, there we go, crossing that 4,400 mark. Thank you guys so much for following the stream. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for checking out the OSC Season 7 Championship. Season 8 starting up next week. Here come these Hellions now into this middle line at the third base. The Queen is pressuring it away. Lair on the way up in the main as Spore Crawlers come through to make sure he stays nice and safe against anything coming through. Additional barracks added on for Euthermal, going up to that 3 count for the pretty standard bio play coming out. Double Engineering Bay. This is that same build we saw from him in game number 1, where he went for that double medevac drop with some siege tanks, and we saw Vanya just time and time again take good engagements, catching those siege tanks out. This Liberator this time gets 4 kills. Nicely done. We'll continue to deny some more mining. This is very annoying for Vanya. And good awareness from Euthermal to move this as soon as the Spore Crawler gets in position. The Hellions on the other side are looking for more tumors, but won't be finding any. 1-1 is indeed started up now for Euthermal back at home. We have Stim about, again, halfway done. That barracks ready to get swapped over as the reactor building machine, Starport, is here. will, I think, this time be keeping the reactor for itself and starting up that double medevac, as the Marine production will be continuing to ramp up, going into 5 barracks here in total. Yeah, this is the exact same build we saw in Game 1, guys, so let's see how well he can do this time around, as that first game, Vanya looked absolutely dominant. He does again add on the double evolution chamber here at the 3rd base. His 4th hatchery is on the way as well. The creep spread from Vanya a little bit more reasonable here in this game. Nice and contained here in the center of the map, but we'll be continuing to add that on. Some roaches already out on the map, but not a ton so far. Only 3. Not really too much of a need for them just yet. 37 army supply to 22, and a 12 worker advantage for the Blue Zerg. No 3rd command center on the way yet for the side of Uthermal. Excuse me, I'm silly. It's already down. That's why. So, obviously not on the way because it's already done and landed in position here. No 4th command center being added on for him. As 1-1 it will be finishing up. Does he already have the armory? Not quite, so we'll see if he ends up adding that on in time to be able to time out that 2-2 well enough. As 1-1 for the missile attack is on the way for Vanya. He's going to be helping out these roaches pretty significantly as the army of Uthermal marches through the center of the map. They have control of the Zelnaga Tower. Taking a look at the unit count, it's 20 Marines, 3 tanks, and 5 Hellions. Coming up against, so far, just 8 roaches. 9 more are on the way. Front edge of this creep going to begin to get assaulted. The Liberator moving back up towards that main base at the same time as well. The creep tumor is getting all cleared out here as the siege tanks get established. Now in range of this hatchery, going to start pressuring it down. Ravagers getting made on that right-hand side. 3 already available as the Liberator is set up in the main base, starting to rack up some worker kills. 4 going down already as he pulls away. Good response from Vanya, but no Queen over there to hunt it down. The Spore Caller moved over, but he was able to move away. The Biles take down the first tank. He's going to be looking for a second one. 3 Biles is all it takes. Could use focus fire on that Ravager. He takes it down. Only 1 Bile was able to go through before it falls. But there are just too many roaches, and he is able to push this back. 11 workers going down to this Liberator as it came into the natural base after the main, and will actually be able to continue getting damage done here in the main base. Might even be able to snipe this Queen this time. Ooh, 1 more shot would have done it, but he gets another couple of worker kills, 13 in total going down, bringing that worker count to 55 to the 62, excuse me, of Uthermal. Now with a worker lead, he's on the defense. Needs to hold on to this 3rd base to keep himself alive in this game, and he'll be in a phenomenal position. 1-1, finishing up for these roaches. No Ravagers with this army. That's going to make things a little tough to break this tank line. 2 bunkers here as well. And yeah, without any Ravagers, I don't think this is a fight that Vanya is really going to be wanting to take. His 4th hatchery is done. He'll be able to resaturate this and catch up in that worker count very quickly. Already back up to 7 workers in advantage. 2-2 started up for the side of Uthermal. As +2 Carapace and +1 melee gets started up for Vanya on his side of the map. As his 3rd base is fully saturated. 4th base finishing getting saturated as a hive comes up behind this. The Baneling Nest coming through for Vanya as well. Going to really just be a necessary addition here against so much bio coming out later on in this game. Here comes the medevac along this left-hand side, looking for an opportunity to clear out some more creep. We don't have any other pressure. It looks like, there we go, another medevac getting sent out, as this is a hallmark of really all Bioterrans, but also something that Uthermal is very good at pressuring this creep on multiple sides, applying a lot of pressure to the Zerg all at once. This medevac is coming into the main base. The Lings are coming around that right-hand side. Might have seen something. Have some sort of premonition that something is on the way. The drone's going to be pulled away from that main base as the Marines get a lot of alone time. Killing quite a few of these Zerglings. Catching the Queen. I mean, hey, this is all very nice trades for just 1 medevac worth of Marines that stays completely alive and completely healthy as well. Going to be able to hide and wait for another opportunity. Vanya, no idea where it's at as the Marines move forward here on the right-hand side, clearing out some more tumors. Forcing a response from Vanya, and that will be picked up and heading back home. +1 vehicle weapons finishing up for those siege tanks soon as a 5th command center is added on. Siege tanks unsieging. Might see Uthermal move out here. 111 army supply to the 70 of his opponent. A very scary force with 2-2 and the +1 vehicle weapons finishing up. We do have the +1 melee finishing here soon for Vanya. His centrifugal hook's going to be done for this fight as well. So it's going to be both players hitting their power spikes and coming into the swing of things. Marine comes into the main base. Adrenal Glands has started, but won't be done for some time. The Queen, ooh, almost gets taken down. Tanks not quite set up just yet. It's the first Biles come through. They miss, actually. The siege tanks will be able to continue moving forward here. Now this base is under assault as Marines move into the 3rd base at the same time, denying mining there as well. Stemming forward, the first Biles, or next round of Biles, I should say, damaging that tank, but not enough landing to be able to finish the job as We have the third base continuing to get assaulted, actually. Takes down the extractor, the Lings, not enough. And the Marines are still here, still doing more work. As the Zerglings continue to move forward, he's running back into his tank line. Good shot into those Banelings. The first 2 tanks go down. Still 2 left here on the low ground, as so many Marines are still alive here. It's 101 arm supply to 37. GG, Euthermal strikes back here in game number 3. Keeps himself alive with a much better looking game there. Did a much better job of being active out on the map with those drops and with that harassment. Finding some damage and to inflict with that Liberator as well. Really coming in clutch there to help him close things out and finish in that game number 3. Now, in game number 4 on the Turtle Empire, it's going to be coming down to Euthermal, looking to force a game 5, keep himself alive in this tournament. Here in the losers bracket round 5, winner moves on to losers bracket round 6. We'll have 2 more. There's 7 total rounds to the lower bracket, guys, before we move into that final top 4 to decide our champion. If you're a little confused or want to see what that bracket looks like, you can, of course, check that out with exclamation point bracket. I'll show it to you guys after this game as well, as we're here in the top right position for game 4 on the Turtle Empire. It stars Vanya. His opponent in the bottom left position in the red, looking much better and kind of coming into his own form in game 3. It's Euthermal. Very nice game there for him, especially if you're a Euthermal fan. Breathing the sigh of relief here as he strikes back convincingly in that last game. Much better upgrades that time. Again, did a much better job with the harassment being effective. An early pull coming in from Vanya. Expecting this just to be defensive, right? Might send a few Lings over early on, but I think this is just to stay safe against potential proxy racks. There goes that hatchery. All by the book here so far. But yeah, a much better game from Euthermal, and I really enjoy that style from him, and I'm interested if he keeps doing that or if he tries the Battlecruiser play again, right? I think both are very good, and obviously, I mean, he's good enough to make either one of them work. As Vanya is so worried about a proxy here, he's checking him every position for the 2nd game in a row. Both of his Overlords getting sent to check for any of that, making sure that he is not getting caught off guard, making sure that he does not allow that game 5 to get forced without a fight. SCV will go ahead and make its way across for that scouting information. Keep an eye on that 3rd base position and try and keep that blocked for as long as he can. First few Zerglings are coming out into the center. As my dog is going crazy real quick, so I'm going to follow this Reaper around and go let them in real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. The Reaper is here. Got the first kill. Looks like it was just a Zergling. Yeah. Looking for a drone kill, but good save by Vanya as he throws down the 3rd hatchery. Ooh, maybe getting a 2nd Zergling kill. Not quite. Speed started up for Vanya. This Reaper continuing to be a nuisance. Actually might get a drone kill this time. Ooh, barely not blocking that extractor. But Euthermal, with full information now, knows exactly what's going on, knows the gas count, saw the drone count. All the information you could want here. Not going to have to invest a scan or anything like that. He does have 1 Hellion on the way with the reactor just now finishing up. We'll get that swapped over as the Starport comes down behind this. And let's see what that next add-on is going to be. Hopefully give us a little bit more of a sign as to what style Euthermal is wanting to go for in this game. No tech cloud going through, so it does not look like it'll be the Battlecruiser once again. So the Hellion's going to be coming out to start this off. First Hellion making its way over here at least. Again, just looking to contest these creep tumors as speed is about 80% done here for Vanya. Still just on the 1 gas. We'll be looking to see when he takes to 2nd and 3rd. There's the fusion core, so it looks like it will be just a bit later of a battlecruiser play coming out from the red Terran. As the Overlord actually is going to get in here and doesn't actually decide to commit too much further. Would have been able to get a full scout, because there's nothing that can shoot up here just yet. That first Viking will be coming out to go hunt him down. And you're looking to deny that information, and if you can keep that battlecruiser from getting spotted, all the better. And he's hoping to be able to get some better damage this time around than he was able to in that second game. That's one of the creep tumors here, but will not be able to get any more, only having the singular Hellion. Not going to be too great for him, as the Viking does begin to hunt that guy down. And will be able to finish the job. Zerglings in the center, catching this Reaper. Oh, almost. Yeah, there he goes. Gets surrounded. And the Zerglings will go ahead and run up towards the top side of this map. We do have the third command center on the way here at the front as the rest of these Hellions move across the map. No Reaper to soak up those shots from the Queen, so they will be a little bit squishier than usual, but it shouldn't be too big a deal here. Second and third gas is getting taken as the layer comes up. No further tech getting taken, though. No Roach Warren or anything like that. Or the Baneling Nest has been taken, but nothing further than that. Hellions on the top side. We're able to snipe one of the tumors, which is nice. Continue just to threaten this creep wherever he's able to. The Viking is still hunting for any further overlords. The fourth hatchery gets spotted here by Euthermal as well, as he adds on additional barracks back at home. His stim is started up, so it's going to be now in game 3, he went for the same build he did in game 1. Now in game 4, he goes for the same build he did in game 2. Except this time, it will not be matched up against a early Roach push. He's going to have a much more favorable time getting some damage inflicted. The one Spore Caller is moving into a little bit better of a position. Queen in the main base going to be the first target for this battlecruiser. As down it goes. Good start here for Euthermals. He's now going to be able to target down this Overlord. Should be able to find at least 2 here. So that does buy time for that Spore Caller to be finished up. Queens are here at the third base on the low ground. That fourth hatchery is about 75% done. The battlecruiser looking for as much damage as he can do. Vanya doing a nice job of keeping drones out of his reach. Best he can, though eventually won't really matter. This battlecruiser has a lot of health to work with. Queens are now here in the main base to help finish chasing him away as the third base lands on location for Euthermal. 22 to 40 is that army supply currently, as 14 more Banelings getting added on for the side of Vane, continuing to produce more of these Zerglings as well. And again, just sticking with this Ling Bane tech for the time being. He does have that layer finished up as he works on centrifugal hooks, but is not yet committed to what that next tech is going to be. Aspire would not be too surprising here. Corruptors are very good at responding to continued battlecruiser investment, but we will not be seeing continued battlecruiser investment. No Yamato Cannon research and no additional battlecruisers getting added on. So it's a good choice from Vanya, I think, to not invest in that, as instead he's invested in these Banelings rolling on in. Going to be crashing through this wall. And now into the army. Euthermal kiting back here. He has to get it all so far away from the Banelings. They're getting some decent connections on the right-hand side. On the left, that tank getting surrounded, but it stays alive. Now the middle line in some trouble here at the third. Trying to run away from these Zerglings. The rest of the army is stimming over. Needs that Baneling to die. And does get it. The battlecruiser teleported back home as well. It looks like he will be able to clear this out. The couple of Banelings here getting as many connections as they can. Taking down 6 workers in total. But ultimately getting cleared out. And Euthermal is able to hold on to this. Not taking too much damage. Cleared out quite a few of those Banelings. 32 to 30 that army supply, and only down 9 workers. Resources lost in favor of the Red Terran. Doing a nice job so far in this game. Only losing a single tank as part of that defense. 1-1 is about 80% done here for him. He already has the armory on the way to be able to start up that 2-2. The 1-1 is a bit faster here for Vanya, but of course won't be able to take advantage of it as he just got completely wiped on the other side of the map. Does not have any army to take advantage of this upgrade advantage, and so Banelings will just be here for the defense. The creep spread continuing to get established along the centers of this map as the 5th hatchery gets taken here in the top center. 4th command center not coming through yet for the side of Euthermal, instead adding on additional barracks, finishing adding on more add-ons here, getting this production really looking spiffy. I mean, he has now, what is this, 5 barracks coming up with 3 more coming along, going to be going up to 8 in total. This double medevac drop making its way along the left-hand side of this map will be poised to do some pretty significant damage near this 5th base if Vanya is not prepared for it. With 2-2 started up behind this, these 1-1 Marines have a lot of DPS. If he's left alone with that hatchery, he can definitely force a cancel. Looks like instead he's going to be trying to clear out more of this creep, especially near this 4th base, trying to open up an opportunity to get set up somewhere in this area, potentially siege from this high ground or something like that. He comes forward. Zerglings getting involved a little bit here. The good pickup will allow him to escape over the left-hand side. Battlecruiser on the other side, looking to draw that attention away and get these queens to come over here. And look for some more damage if you can. Okay, getting a couple of drone kills. Almost able to get that first queen. Banelings on the top side getting sniped. Great micro here from Euthermal as he's able to snipe the rest of those Zerglings as well. 7 drones go down to the Battlecruiser as the queens all stay alive with some good transfuses. The rest of the Lings and Banes are enough to push that drop away. 2-2 now about 60% done here for Euthermal. Almost done for the side of Vanya. Again, continuing that upgrade advantage in favor of Vanya. More creep tumors continue to get contested. Euthermal again doing a very nice job of that. And making sure to focus down the active one that had still another tumor available. Teleports available, and out he goes. Those 5 queens unable to do too much. With 2-2 finishing, we might see a push come forward from Vanya. It's a 4th base. We'll be finishing now for Euthermal. We'll see how quickly he's wanting to land that. And curious what position he's going to want to take here with this 4th base. If he takes that same one that Vanya did, or if he goes for the one on the other side. Looks like it is going to be the one on the other side of the map, closer to the Naga Tower. Medevac's up on the top side of this map. We'll be looking for another opportunity, but the Zerglings do spot this. Know exactly where that Medevac is, and we'll be able to keep it from doing too much here. 2-2 now done for Euthermal as well, as he's caught up in that upgrade department. We'll see who starts up 3-3 sooner. Vanya building up a bit of a bank as he's already nearing max. So is Euthermal, though. But a significant worker advantage for Vanya, that income advantage, pretty significant for him. Let's see if that's going to be enough to give him the edge he needs to take down Euthermal in Game 4, who's pushing on a creep now near this 4th hatchery. The creep tumors are still here, so this creep will be here for the duration of this fight. Unable to clear out a path, now clearing out a little bit more. Meanwhile, though, the Banelings crashing through the wall. The 3rd base going to have to run the SCVs away. More Marines are coming in from that rally to try and keep this safe, but there are so many Banelings here. This is actually ridiculous how many got committed. Meanwhile, the main army is now getting committed. The Banelings rolling forward. Good micro so far from Euthermal as the Banelings on the left-hand side not doing too much, but there doesn't seem to be too many Marines left alive. Is there enough here for Euthermal to win the fight? It does not look like it, as all the siege tanks get taken down, and Vanya routs the army here. The medevac drop moved into the 3rd base at the same time. Picks up 5 drones, but not much more. Down he goes. Gets finished clearing up by those Zerglings. Good focus fire into one of the Banelings, but not enough to do too much here. More Marines are here at the 4th base now, trying to maximize their damage, but there's way too many Zerglings here. As soon as he decides to go over and fight, should be able to clear this out, but actually gets more alone time than I thought he would with that mineral line, getting 12 drone kills with that little bit of time. Now only a 6 worker advantage in favor of Vanya, so nice bit of damage there with those Marines just stimming in. 3-3 has begun for Vanya, and it's already about halfway done, whereas only +3 weapons has been started for Euthermal. No +3 armor just yet, and he will be again behind in that upgrade for now the 3rd consecutive upgrade. Siege tank production, of course, continuing. He's continuing to pump out more and more of this bio, all up towards that top side. Has a decent split over here towards the 3rd, but once again, if that number of Banelings gets committed over here, I'm worried for how safe this 3rd base actually will be. As with no planetary, no bunkers over here, things could get dicey. Ultras are on the way for Vanya. This is something that we saw happen yesterday, where the Terran player just did not have enough units that were a good response to those Ultras. Not having any Ghosts, not having any Liberators, as we see here coming out from Euthermal, could make things very, very dangerous for him, as these Ultras are going to be so durable with that chitinous plating and +3 armor. The only real thing he has that can do damage to, or decent damage to Ultras is really nothing right now, right? Maybe like if he got Yamato Cannon, that would be something from the units that he has. He's adding on more Liberators now, which will be nice. If he can continue to add on more of those, Liberators are going to be very useful in dealing with these and helping him find better engagements. But in the meantime, it's going to be just Marines and a few tanks against Ultras and Ling Bane. That's going to be super, super tough, especially being down in armor upgrades right now. He doesn't have the +3 armor for himself. The Marines stimming back. The Banelings are just rolling through here, getting great connections. The Ultras on the backside of this as well are just now arriving. Chitinous plating not even done just yet. The Ultras aren't taking any damage. This base under fire. Down it goes as 21 SCVs die. Down goes the 4th base, and Vanya is on the warpath. Looking to get even more. Might have overextended a little. Needs to back away. Look at how little damage that guy takes. Oh my goodness. That's absurd. so durable here. The drop comes in at the natural, looking for some more worker kills, but won't even be finding any here. Vanya with a great move to take out that 4th command center, forcing a new 4th to get built. But it's still going to be some time before that's available. The medevac drop is trying to buy time. It's trying to find some damage, but it is not looking too likely here. We've got the anabolic synthesis here to make those ultras even faster. More siege tanks are coming up. More liberators are coming out here to try and find a response, to try and shut this down. And with mules, he has a decent amount of income still, despite only having 47 workers, but it's not nearly enough to be able to stay even with the production that Vanya will have available to him, especially with this Spire coming up behind this. He's continuing to get in a better and better position in this game. Medevac will get sent out along the top side of this map by Euthermal as he tries to find more damage to inflict. A lot of Banelings are finishing up there in the center of the map. Looks like they will be heading down towards the 3rd base, if I had to guess. Currently just waiting for an opportunity, waiting for orders, as here come the Liberators around with this medevac drop. Going to be looking to start the pressure on these mineral lines. 2 of them getting set up as the medevac unloads. Okay, get some good damage here. 6 drones going down already. Those Banelings now getting revealed by the sensor tower. Euthermal moving to respond. Baneling trash through all the same. 2nd siege tank shot clearing out a few more. Marauders also getting added onto the mix here to help him out with those ultralisks as well. Of course, concussive shells can be very useful with that at the same time. Drop coming in at the top side, getting another few worker kills. 11 in total have gone down. He's starting to find some decent damage. 12 going down now as the Liberator continues to pick up a few more from some units getting transferred over there. He's able to snipe this hatchery with the medevac. This is nice. This is exactly what Euthermal needs to be doing right now to bring himself back in this game. The Liberator over here at the natural base getting even more kills. 17, 18 in total have gone down. Now down to 79 to the 47 of his opponent as Euthermal once again comes into the main base. He'll be looking for some more damage to inflict with this drop. Raptors right here, though, so this medevac will get cleared up. 19 drones in total. Looks like it will be the final death count of these workers, but Vanya making another wave, now back up to 84. 124 to 106 down Army Supply right now as Thermal has the Army Supply advantage and is pushing forward, looking to pressure this base. And it's going to come down to one good engagement here for either side. The hatchery's taking some serious damage. If Vanya wants to go, he's got to go now. And here he goes. Zergling's moving forward. Corruptors in the sky, going to start targeting down these Liberators. The Ultras on the right-hand side, not doing too much. And there's so many Zerglings left alive here. The Bio in the back is trying to do what it can, but okay, they're able to clear out a lot of the Zerglings. Now the Ultra coming forward. That's one of the last things on the ground here, except for the Queens. He needs to kite back and wait for this next round of 60 Zerglings that are coming out now. That next Ultra is super important as well. No more Liberators with this main force as reinforcements are coming. They're not here just yet. Here's another Marauder now. 2 Marauders going to help him kite back against this and help him get that extra damage he needs to break through that armor. Now catching the Queens off creep. This is so many Queens that are going to go down here. Euthermal is making it happen here in Game 4. He wants to stay alive and force a Game 5. The Zerglings are coming in. This army is so overstimmed. Do they have enough? They're targeting down the They're targeting down so many of the Zerglings, actually not targeting down the hatchery. Corruptors are finishing off so many of the medevacs, and oh man, it just does not look like the Marines are enough. GG. Vanya is able to close out that series with a 3-1 score line. Very, very nicely done by the star player. Super, super nice. Eliminating Euthermal here in the lower bracket round 5 from the OSC Season 7 Championship. And now that means that Vanya moves on to tomorrow face off against, looks like I think it'll be the loser of Clem B, if I'm not mistaken. It's either the loser of Bly, and then either Cure or Mana, or it's the loser of B or Clem. I can go ahead and show you guys that bracket, actually. Let's do that. Here we go, guys. This is what the bracket is looking like right now. Let me make sure it shows you guys the right screen. Cool. So this is the match that we just saw. Euthermal getting eliminated by Vanya here in loser bracket round 5. Moving on to loser bracket round 6 will be Vanya. Down here on the bottom side, we do have Denver, or sort of course. Well, let me refresh this. So Denver took down sort of, and will face Eric tomorrow. Looks like Vanya will be facing Mana there in losers bracket round 6, as Bly is there in losers round 7. Clem currently taking on B to decide who's here in this losers round 7. And of course, all of that will be finished up tomorrow, because here on this channel, guys, we will have the upper bracket finals, which will be coming through here very, very soon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll be back, guys, with one more best of 5 for the day here in just a couple minutes. Thanks for watching. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to today's broadcast of the OSC Season 7 Championship. We are getting ready for a fantastic TVT coming up, guys. It is Clem taking on Cure in a best of 5. Ephemeron will be our first map. Welcome everybody coming from Morty's stream. Hope you had a fantastic stream, man. Always love watching you. So glad you are here. Glad you guys are all here. Papa Mitch with 1,000 bits as well. Thank you so much for supporting the OSC. Appreciate you a lot. Yeah, guys, this is going to be super, super fun. You know, it kind of speaks for itself, right? Kier taking on Clem. Clem has been looking so utterly dominant. The French Terran has been wrecking face day after day. Now he faces possibly his toughest challenge yet in Kier, the Korean Terran, who, again, another player that is no slouch, right? I mean, it is a unenviable situation to want to be able to take that fight on. We are just currently waiting for the players to finish readying up right now, as they are currently taking their sweet time. Looks like both players are in the lobby and just waiting to confirm that everybody is good to go. So we will hopefully get this going here very soon. As let me double check. Yeah, they're just making sure nobody's missing from the lobby, guys. Then we'll get started here. Awesome, guys. Here we go for game number 1 of this best of 5 on Ephemeron for this TVT goodness. Let's get into the action. Let me know who you think's going to win in the chat, guys. Kier or Clem, the Baguette or the Korean. Who takes the victory? Let me know. As if Nation Wars is anything to go by, I think the edge goes to Kier, the Korean flag. It's proving to be a little bit stronger there. We'll see. We'll see if we can avenge it and take down Cure here. Ephemeron, going to be the battlefield. Let's get on into it, guys. And to kick things off, down in the bottom right-hand side, the free agent, France. It's Clem. His opponent up in the top left position in the blue, the Korean Terran, Cure. Oh, man, I'm so excited for this, guys. Love me some TVT, especially between these two. These guys are absolutely phenomenal. So excited to see these guys facing each other off. That's Papa Mitch with the 25-month resub. Thank you so much for supporting the OSC. As it is just a 1 gas opener so far from these guys. A little bit of a fake proxy coming through from Clem to try and abuse some of that lack of information. And it looks like it is going to be 2 gas opener for both sides, so both players going to have a nice and early access to that tech tree, which will mean later expansions, but much more aggression available in this early game. It's going to be interesting to see how the various add-ons and stuff start to time out here, as the gas is a little bit faster for Kier. Papa Mitch with the gifted sub as well, to Slowly Falling. Thanks so much for supporting the OSC. And welcome to the channel, Slowly Falling. Welcome to the sub. Here comes Kier with the SCV Scout, making his way across the map as he starts up his orbital behind this and throws down that factory as well. So, very standard stuff. Factory coming down for Clem, and Clem actually goes straight for the reactor here and is also throwing down the factory in the fake proxy as well. So, let's see how Kier responds to this, as he's going to be coming in. And initially, it's going to look like there's absolutely nothing here. Coming on in. Sees nothing so far. We see him even rallying out there to go check over here for a fake proxy, but doesn't look like he'll be checking that natural base. As the Reaper comes out for Kier, it looks like he will be keeping it at home here, so will not be able to take advantage of the lack of initial unit from Kier, or from Clem, excuse me, who now is going to go straight for the two Reapers, and it looks like Kier did end up checking it, so he knows exactly what's going on now. So should be okay to send this Reaper across, should he want to, but doesn't want to get caught by those 2 Reapers, so we'll be just keeping him safe. Starport on the way for Clem as well in this position. Curious if he ends up swapping over this reactor at some point, as the first Hellion will be on the way for Clem as well. SCV will be able to return home safely. Tech Lab onto the barracks. No starport for Kier just yet, actually, despite having over 200 gas. That's rather curious to me. Okay, there we go. Just wanted to wait till the Tech Lab had finished. Okay, that makes sense. Putting it straight on there, not going to want to lift it up or anything. The natural base comes down for Clem now, finally. Right about that 3-minute mark. Pretty standard stuff. After that 2-gas opener, it looks like it will be a tech lab onto this for the starport of Clem as well. Going to be able to open up with most likely going to be Ravens here. Could be Banshee play, but it's a little less common. A little less good, frankly, most of the time. And Pom Mitch even gifting another sub to get ya. Thank you so much. Really appreciate ya. As here comes Clem now at the natural base, checking things out. Nothing is there. The expansion is coming up on the high ground for Cure. As Cure starts up Cloak, and he's going to prove me wrong and make me eat my words, starting up a Banshee immediately, as it will be the Raven coming out from Clem. So Clem going to have that earlier detection. And, of course, a lot more utility as this game continues. So Hellion and Reaper's trying to break through this. Nades going out everywhere. But Cure comes out on the upper hand. We'll be able to push him back. Cyclone on the way behind this for Clem as his natural base will be finishing up here shortly. Significantly faster than that of Cure's, who will be just a bit behind in that regard. Getting a reactor onto that barracks now is looks like he will be sending a Reaper onto the low ground, checking things out, making sure he is nice and clear. All along this left-hand side. Still not completely sure if there's anything on his side of the map, and doesn't want to run into any units on his way over there as well. Clem going to do the same with his 2 Reapers, sending them along the right-hand side. Siege tank now going to be the call for Clem as he swaps over that starport onto the reactor, having that first Raven. Where did that Raven go, actually? Oh, it's just up here in the main base. Okay, there's the Reaper getting some scouting information coming into the main base. Nice little Reaper nade. Might be able to pick up 1 kill before he dies, and yeah, gets 1 SCV kill, but does get taken down. No scouting information for him. Here's that Cloak Banshee at the natural base. The Raven is here with the Marines, and that'll be enough to deter him from doing any damage. And that's really what I was the point I was looking for with that Banshee being a little bit weak, is because of the prevalence of this early Raven, especially from Clem. Something he loves to do, and I think it's just a standard move to do in TVT in general. Just makes it to where once that Raven is out, it's very difficult to get that Banshee into the middle line and finding the damage without your opponent responding well enough. And so he has these 2 Banshees that for the time being going to be a bit useless. That's quite a bit of money he's invested into that tech. Also means he does not have a Raven at all. He swapped over that starport after getting those Banshees and now is working on double Viking production to secure that air superiority. Air superiority very, very crucial in this matchup. Going to really allow him to control this battlefield and dictate where and when Clem can be moving out with those siege tanks. But without any Ravens to complement that air superiority, it will be a little bit more difficult for him to find a decisive engagement into the tank line, right? Not going to have those interference matrices available, not going to have any anti-armor missiles as well. The Raven and Viking narrowly miss these Banshees as they move in to the main base. The Raven is just above him to the north, barely off screen. You can see the shadow right there, I guess. They get into the main base, and looks like they will be able to start getting a couple kills here. The Raven is coming in. Again, it's fairly close, but we'll be losing a significant amount here. 7 workers going down, and looks like the the Ravens will just try and trade out, or the Banshees will trade out. But 11 in total go down, 12 in total go down. For the lives of those 2 Banshees, not too shabby. Resources lost, a good 300 in favor of the Blue Terran, and an 11 worker lead behind all this. So now it's going to be Clem moving across the map. He needs to get some damage inflicted of his own. Try and make up for that. Of course, SCV count in this matchup of all the matchups, a little bit less important, right? He can get some more mules called in and make up for it eventually. But in the short term, it's more money in the pocket of Cure. Take a look at that income advantage. Decent lead for Cure, as the army is just on the low ground here. In terms of units, we have 6 Vikings to the 5 of Clem, but Clem, again, has that Raven available, and that's going to mean be able to disable these tanks, which, instead he's throwing down auto turrets right in the front, actually. Getting that extra DPS as his siege tank siege up on the ramp. 3-2 is that siege tank count, but the Marines of Cure are doing a much better job as another tank arrives from Clem, but it's not siege up in time. They are not getting the shots onto the tanks of Cure, and he takes a convincing Game 1 win over the French Terran. Great control from Cure. Clem going for a bit of an ill-advised attack up that ramp initially, and then from there, snowballing out of control, right? Cure finding 12 kills with those 2 Banshees, crippling the economy of Clem, and from there, kind of forcing his hand to try and push across that map. He was trying to find the damage inflicted and was unable to do so. His siege tanks not having the vision to fire onto the tanks in the back, the auto turrets being the call instead of the disable. I don't think it's a bad call, right? It's more DPS, and I think he felt that he didn't have enough Marines there. But I think if he did take those out, might have been able to get better shots with the siege tanks of his own. might have ended up working out better for him. Of course, hindsight's 2020. You know, it's hard to say, especially in the moment. Hard to make that call. As game 2 will be on Triton here, guys. We'll see if Clem will be able to strike back and even things up, or if it will be Cure moving on to a very early match point in this best of 5. If you guys haven't checked out that Matcherino page, guys, please do go and check that out. ! Matcherino. You can donate to the prize pool for free. 100% of that money goes to the players. These guys are already in the top 4 as we are in the final bracket. So these guys getting the lion's share of this prize pool. You can, again, adds a full $1 to that prize for free. ! Matcherino as we load in to Triton for map number 2. And here in the top left-hand side, in the red, the French Terran, Clem. Currently down 1 game. And down on the bottom right-hand side, in the blue, up 1-0, the Korean Terran looking good. It's Cure. Man, oh man, what a good game number 1 there. Clem trying to get aggressive on the other side, not quite panning out for him, as Cure was able to hold on nicely and with nice patience with the Banshee, able to find the damage he was looking for. You know, I was talking crap about the Banshee and saying how it wasn't being able to do too much, and sure, just the 1 wasn't, but then he keeps him alive, brings him back in with the 2, finds his way around that Raven, gets the damage he was looking for, and forced Clem's hand there in that last game. Though, for Clem, you know, I don't think he should be too worried about that. Definitely should be still definitely is very much in this series and definitely can still take this home. It's going to need to be a little bit more aware of where those Banshees will be coming from, and of course, it was so close, right? I mean, his Raven was just a little bit off position of spotting them as they were coming in. So slight, and ending up giving Clem the disadvantage and putting him on the back foot the remainder of that game. So now here in game 2, it's Cure checking around for any proxies before making his way across the map. Both players with very standard building positioning this time, as they both will be looking to take their natural expansions. There's the SCV scout for Clem, keeping an eye on things. And now knows what's going on. Just going to head back home. Factory comes down for Clem on his side of the map. Should be coming down here for Clem. Or for Cure, excuse me, right about now. Alright, and that Raven, the Reaper, my goodness, so many R words right now. The Reaper will be here. Along with the SCV, it's going to be looking to see who can bait that first shot onto the SCV from the other Reaper, trying to win this fight. And reminder, guys, the loser of this series will still be alive in the tournament. They will be fighting in the loser's final tomorrow. Reaper of Clem went forward, but Cure actually still gets the first shot and wins both fights, killing the SCV, and now is chasing down this Reaper. A few more shots will do it, but it doesn't look like he'll be able to finish the job, as it will be able to escape. The natural base is about finished for Clem, as is for Cure. Factory gets swapped over onto the reactor. Looks like for both players, as both will start up that double Hellion production. And it's going to be a very standard early game to this TVT. Dead even in the worker count, dead even in the buildings. And a tech lab is going to be the first difference between these two players. Coming up on the barracks for Clem, no add-on coming through on the barracks for Cure. So this starport going to be potentially just used immediately for a Liberator, potentially. Or maybe going for like some sort of Hellion drop wouldn't be too bad as well. Let's see what he has in mind. Try and take down the Baguette in the top left side of this map. As the medevac will be the call for Clem, and looks like it is also going to be the call for Cure here. So we're going to get double Hellion drops up against each other. Factory gets established on this tech lab. Going to be starting up Cyclone for that defensive maneuver. This medevac comes out. We'll be able to get inside and get some good damage. Potentially. Already boosting to go catch up to those Hellions, making their way through the center of the map. There's the Liberator coming out to follow this up from Clem, as the medevac is loaded up for Cure and heading along the bottom side. The Reaper spots these Hellions in the center, but doesn't yet know about that medevac. I think it was a little too far back for the Delnaga tower to spot it. Doesn't look like there's anything here just yet to defend against this. The one Cyclone going to be crucial in where it's positioned to deny this medevac. as it comes along the right-hand side. Kier about to do the same on the other side of the map. Let's see what he can do. Here we go. The boost in, unloading. Same thing happening on the other side of the map. Here we go, guys. Coming to the middle line. First kill starting to come through. 2 going down. 5 going down. Now on the other side, Clem going to have to respond. The Cyclone way out of position here for him. I don't even know where it is. It's over on the low ground. 8 SCVs of Kiers have died as 1 Hellion goes down. Meanwhile, all Hellions still alive for Kier on this side, but only killing 6 SCVs so far. The Marines a much better response. 9 SCVs go down, but the Marines trying to finish the job. 11 SCVs in total go down as Hellions continue the damage here at the natural. The Cyclone not getting the lock on onto the medevac. And he's able to keep things alive. 10 SCVs to 11 SCVs going down, but Clem cleans up the drop, whereas Kier is unable to do so. Clem keeping his medevac alive. I think Kier kept his alive too, though. Yeah, so both medevacs stay alive, but Clem able to keep his 3 Hellions alive, so slight lead here right off the bat, but it is a very even game still, as they both killed, I think, 1 SCV more than the other. Dead even as we continue heading in to this next stage of the game. Cloak coming up for that Banshee. Once again, going to be the call for Kier, as he's going to try and find that damage. Be very nice defensively as well against any early attacks coming through if there's not enough Marines available. Clem also in this game decided to skip out on that Raven that we saw him be the answer to this Banshee in the previous game. So now, no detection here. He's going to have to invest a scan as the first 2 SCVs go down, looking for a third. As right now, the Marines are underneath it, but not quite feeling comfortable enough to take this fight. Waiting for the Viking. Scan not coming through just yet either, as this Banshee is doing a lot of good work. Denying some mining, keeping these third and fourth gases getting taken as well. Still no scan getting committed just yet, as he now will finally try to. He wants to finish the kill. Lock-on comes through. Down it goes. Barely gets it. Nice job by Clem to finish that off. Hyperflight Rotor is going to be taken now for Kier. He's going to be continuing to invest in this. As up in the main base, a drop gets unloaded, killing 4 SCVs, but not getting too much more. The medevac gets chased away, but stays alive, and that's the most important thing. As the Banshee comes back in, how much energy does he have? He has enough energy for 1 scan on the second Banshee. The Vikings should be able to finish this off. Down goes the second one. Hyperflight Rotor still ticking ever closer, as on the other side, Clem went for a bit of a drop with those Hellions, but was unable to find too much more. As he heads all the way back home with this, the third base is finished up for Kier and morphing into that orbital command. Clem already has his in orbital and is continuing to produce SCVs, but it's a SCV lead for the side of Kier, 44 to 37 currently. That income advantage was pretty significant, but it is coming back closer to about dead even here, as that natural base will get saturated for Clem. Kier with a just a nice lead for the time being, with Hyperflight Rotors finishing up. He's on 1 Banshee right now, second one about to finish up as well, but only the one on this side of the map. The Cyclone gets a lock on already, and oh man, we'll be able to take that down. Nice little grab here. Oh, now here comes the medevac. Coming in, trying to find that Cyclone. Great repairs as the medevac has 2 HP. Oh my goodness. And will be able to find that Cyclone. Nicely done here. Going to force more of a response from Clem. But Clem's army's on the other side of the map. The Viking comes forward to finish off the medevac, but the SCVs are continuing to go down. Clem is outside the third base. So many SCVs going down here. 7 in total have fallen. Now the main army is clashing. Banshee gets cloaked up, scan comes through, the Vikings are landing. They find the first tank. Better shots for Clem as his are established. Down goes the Banshee as well. Medevac up in the main base was taken down, of course. Down goes the rest of those Marines as well. Repairs fixing up that Viking, as the third base will not be able to stay landed for very long. Clem with good pressure outside the base of Kier, and is looking for some more damage to inflict if possible. Here's the SCV pull. Moving forward, not too many Marines with this. The Vikings going to have to land. 4 of them here at the front. 2 SCVs on top of that tank in the back. The tank secure take a much better fight here, and GG will get called as Kier takes game number 2 there. Despite losing 9 SCVs as part of that last attack, Clem not feeling like he had enough left in the bank, not enough in the reserves to keep that going. After that point, he was only down 6 workers. I definitely feel like that game would have been playable from that position, right? I didn't feel like he was really down too much, but that income advantage was starting to grow in favor of Kier, and if once he cleaned that up, he would have been able to get some continuous pressure onto the other side, so it would have relied very much on Clem being able to make a very tough hold if he did stay in that game, so I can't say I blame him for tapping out there. Kier was looking very good, and, I mean, took great fights. His medevac in the main base with the Marines, able to clear up 9-10 workers there at the end. Really just kind of putting the final nail in the coffin there for Clem, as it was just a really a great timing from Kira, right? Clem's army was moving across the map. He did not have his rally set up in the main base. The units were not there to help with that defense. The medevac narrowly staying alive while it was unloading, also helping with that, losing that cyclone. If that cyclone stays alive, if he keeps those SCVs alive for a bit longer, maybe he's, I think then he's able to transition that into a bit more normal of a game, try and find the next steps, and, maybe not be as desperate to make that attack work. On the other side, backing off a little bit sooner from that third base, as I think he did end up just overstaying his welcome is really what it comes down to. Outside of that third base of Cure, he spawns in the bottom right side. He's going to need to make an adjustment. It's Clem, now down 0-2, and in a devastating situation to have to reverse sweep this guy in the top left-hand side in the blue. Cure, who is looking dominant so far in this best of 5, and now has so much potential. Up 2-0, he has room to experiment with. He's going for the refinery before the barracks, so he's going to have a lot of gas available. We'll see if he ends up taking the second gas with this as well, as that'll be kind of the main differences we see in these early openers. Barracks comes through for both sides. The gas just now getting taken for Clem, so let's keep an eye on it, right? Let's see how tangibly this makes a difference in these two openers as the second gas gets taken for Cure, second gas getting taken for Clem as well. You're going to have a little bit faster gas, going to be a little bit faster of a factory, potentially a faster starport to follow that up. And yeah, reminder guys, the loser of this series is not eliminated. They will still be playing tomorrow. So he will be not eliminated. Whoever goes down here, they will be facing the lower finals, which will be, I think we'll decide who that's going to be tomorrow, where we finish out the lower bracket and decide the rest of everything. So still figuring out who they'll be playing. But they won't be out. Factories coming down from both sides. Gas incomes, about 30 more in the bank for Cure right now, but nothing too significant. Reaper production started up for both sides, both of them running them down to the natural base. One of them, Clem, went for the Marine first. A little bit more defensive, a little more conservative. Of course, that helped him catch up in this factory timing. He didn't spend that earlier gas on the Reaper. That does mean that Cure will be able to afford a second Reaper coming out now, as the first Reaper is about to finish up for Clem. I'm looking to take his natural base as well. One Marine and a Reaper going to be making the defense here against one Reaper coming across from Cure. He'll be trying to get some information for himself and try and figure out what is going on. Might be able to kill this SCV if he gets a good angle, but RNG is on Clem's side. And the SCV is on the far side of that base. So the natural base comes up for Cure. He will still not be throwing down that starport just yet. Instead, banking up a little bit more gas, as he will now be throwing it down. Magfield Accelerator is going to be the call here from Clem, something we have not seen from him so far. At least I have not seen from him so far in this tournament, in this matchup. I really like Magfield Accelerators. It does great damage. Does the, of course, those that don't know, does the bonus damage against armored from the lock-ons of the Cyclone. Does phenomenal damage to structures, especially. And we can very often see it snipe out a base, can deny mining time, deny an entire orbital commands or structures in the main of the opponent, or at the front side of the bases of opponents. We've seen players go forward and with 4 or 5 of these cyclones and sniping an orbital command or pressuring it to where he can then finish it off with another attack. And actually what he's going to be doing here is going to be using the barracks to get high ground vision and sniping this, trying to snipe a reactor here. That's the goal, is to use the barracks to get high ground and then lock on from down here to get extra damage, but it doesn't look like there's anything that's close enough. Cyclone is here as the Hellions and Reapers come forward for Cure, and Cure with 3 Reapers still alive here is taking this fight very convincingly. The 2 Reapers are going to be trying to finish off the last Cyclone, who's on the run, but down it goes. Cure wipes that army up, and now it's not even going to matter if this floating barracks comes over. Resources lost is fairly close to even, but Cure able to wipe out all the units on his side of the map. Magfield Accelerator will be finishing for Clem, but he's not going to really be able to take advantage of it for some time. A Banshee going to once again be the call for Cure, but no Cloak getting started up for it just yet. As he starts up a Raven behind it. Might just be hoping to force a bit of an overreaction from the side of Clem, trying to force him to invest in some missile turrets perhaps, or catch him off guard, keep him being scared of that potential Banshee harassment, as the Raven will get rallied out to those 2 Cyclones moving through the center of the map, as they will be looking to, again, get that lock on. At the very least, might be able to kill that supply depot, if nothing else. Barracks continuing to get some more scouting info as that Reaper came up and got a couple SCV kills, actually, before going down. Get the Cyclones at the front. Oh, not quite. Okay, they do get the lock on, actually. Takes down that Cyclone. Look at that. Just 3 shots between the 2 of them to finish that off. Now this Barracks to start taking some hits. The Cyclone comes in once again, gets the lock on, and does take it down. Good job here by Clem, taking down those Cyclones. But this Barracks won't be able to give him too much more to do, as Raven will be popping out here for him soon. Raven on the way for Kier as well. The 3rd base is established on location for Kier, whereas Clem is finishing his up much faster, but is building it on the high ground here. So it's going to be a little bit safer, but also a little bit later to get in position, as this Barracks is coming up into the main base to finish getting some more information. Of course, it will eventually just die, as is its purpose in this world. Gets the full scout, sees the Marines. Nothing crazy. Doesn't see that additional Barracks coming down, but sees this one here, so should know that it is a pretty standard bio play that he's going to be going up against. And it's going to be Clem going for the mech play. As two SCVs go down to this Banshee with no cloak, mind you. It's getting some nice value here. Good repairs coming through to try and buy himself some more time, but 5 SCVs going down. Not the best focus fire from Kyrus. He could have gotten a couple more, but 5 SCVs for 1 Banshee with no cloak is not too shabby. Resources lost continue to be ever so slightly in favor of Kier. Actually, I think it's about dead even now. Yeah, I think it's a little 9 in favor of Kier. Super close game so far, as it's a 7-worker advantage for Kier, as his 3rd base is now getting transformed. But the 3rd base of Clem was already transformed, is now landing on location, so we'll have a little bit faster mule. Going to be able to take a slight income advantage for a little bit, as he calls that down. The siege tank production continuing for both sides. 1-1, now going to get started up significantly faster for Kier. No engineering bays even available just yet for Clem, as his main base still looking very barren. Getting 1 engineering bay now. That's still going to leave him behind in upgrades to the side of Kier, who's going to be continuing to gain advantages as time goes on. Now producing 2 medevacs at a time. Continue to produce a lot of bio with Stim on the way. Combat shield started up as well. Clem on the other side is just continuing to pump out a lot of siege tanks from those multiple factories that he has available. Currently sitting on 3 of them, all of them with 2 of them with tech labs, 1 of them with a reactor that's making some more Hellions. Auto turrets going in to harass this mineral line, getting 4 kills so far. Looks like it will get 5, ooh, maybe 6 as the 3rd one gets dropped. A nice little Bermuda triangle getting set up to kill some more workers, but 6 will go down, and the Raven will get lost for it. I think definitely still okay for Kier, as he now sits up 12 workers over Clem. He's loading up another drop now, and he's going to be ready to head along the left-hand side of this base. Very nice stuff. This is going to be potentially very devastating. This main base has consistently been a weak spot in the defenses of Clem for that Banshee and then the Raven afterwards. He's doing a much better job of keeping an eye on it now with 2 Ravens here and the 2 Vikings. He has a lot of energy available for potential auto turrets if he needs them, and can also, of course, be using those aggressively when he does go for an attack, using them to disable some of these siege tanks. We saw in Game 1 Clem try and use auto turrets instead of the interference matrix to try and take that fight against a superior siege tank force. It just did not seem to really be too effective, right? The siege tanks kind of dominated his army, as the drop does get repelled. That's going to prompt the main army of Kier to move through the center of the map. 75 to 53 is that army supply currently, with 1-1 about to finish. Clem is about to be in some serious heat, as these siege tanks are going to have to be so very valuable and cost efficient for Kier to not break him here. 2 armies are coming down for Clem to start upgrades. He's down 10 workers, down about 24 army supply right now. Things are looking tough for the French Terran. He needs to keep this 3rd base alive. He needs to find a way to win this fight. As Hellions spawn out this army, he knows what's coming for him. 1-1 is now done. There's the interference matrix. The first tank on the low ground gets disabled. Now the Ravens and the Vikings on the high ground are going to do what they can for Clem. This 3rd base is under assault. Down goes the Cyclone. Down go more of the Hellions. He's trying to defend this 3rd base, but I don't think he has the units for this. The 2 siege tanks on the back, now 3, try to do what they can, but the bio is just pushing through this. SCVs are falling. The siege tanks are falling. Kier is looking so good as 4 more tanks get set up, but the bio is stimming forward. Gets 1 of them on the front side, and now we'll wait for more reinforcements. 23 SCVs have fallen so far for the side of Clem. More reinforcements streaming through the center of the map for Kier, and this is such a tough spot for the French Terran. He's down to just 1 Raven left alive, and it has just
almost no hit points left. The Siege Tank's unsieging. Here comes the bio. GG. Pure takes the game and the series with a swift 3-0 victory. Congratulations to him as he moves on to the grand finals of the OSC Season 7 Championship. Huge congrats to him. He will await the winner of Clem and whoever comes out of that losers bracket final to face off in the grand finals tomorrow, which will be kicking off at 9 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Eastern, guys. So if you tuned into Wardy, make sure to tune into him once again, twitch.tv/Wardy, and of course, we will of course still be on the B stream here, twitch.tv/OSC Esports. My name has been Coltarin, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm a WCS Challenger commentator, been casting StarCraft for a few years. I cover stuff on my channel. I'll be covering more stuff tonight, like the ESL Cup, as well as some NA Apprentice Group Stage 1 games at 7 p.m. Central Time tonight on my channel. So if you're interested and like what you heard, check out my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who followed this stream today at OSC Esports, taking us well over 4,400 followers. So thank you guys so very much. And again, big shout outs to you, Papa Mitch, for the 2 gifted subs and the 1,000 bits. Thank you so much for supporting the OSC. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please do check out that Metronome page if you haven't. And with that, you guys have a great night. Peace out.